in game number 1.
And for BLG, they just want a repeat of last time. They've only played once. It was a 3-0, and BLG schooled Gen.G. A lot of it coming through Shun, working his way down towards that bottom lane, and here they've got a composition that if he's in bot a lot, is going to help them out no end. We are on to Summoner's Rift once again. Gen.G versus BLG. As we see just a normal line of scrimmage. You guys, if you want to get involved at home, you can connect your League of Legends account with Prime Gaming to grab the exclusive Braum W emote. It's a good one. A little bit of a, Ender would be proud.
I get that reference.
Yeah. Why? Because it's just a Twitch chat.
Yes.
Right.
Braum W, very
Heck
similar
W.
to it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's good.
I think we're allowed to say what it's referring to. I think that's.
Didn't think I was just.
I haven't checked it past legal actually, Benny. If I get yanked off, it's just a crook around my neck pulling me off.
Can't say Keck W.
I'm sorry, guys.
I think we'll be okay.
Yeah,
You'll be fine.
I think it's fine.
You'll be fine.
I haven't looked at the law book for a long time, but I feel like you're safe on this one, Matic.
I hope so too.
Now, no Hail of Blades on the Azir, something that we did see debut at this Worlds from Showmaker when he played up against Caps. It gives you so much priority and control in the lane, but as the game goes on, it offers less value. Chovy's just pretty confident in his ability to go toe-to-toe against Yagao in this mid-lane matchup. And we got to look at where these junglers are starting. Early vision has been invested on the side of BLG, so they will spot Peanut on his red. He started on his Raptors, and he could look for a play towards the bot side of the map, but he may very well just path back up towards top and look for a play to set Doran up for success.
Yeah, Peanut actually, with a sweep, are able to take down the ward. Will still get spotted, so it will still give the information to BLG, but it will deny any further and give Peanut a little bit of resources. Now, at MSI, BLG was able to dismantle both LCK teams with very similar strategies. Very aggressive early trading for Elk and On, and then turn that into an early gank from Shun, and from that point on take control. So we'll have to see. I think the early level 1 from Elk and On looks convincing. They're also obviously expected to take a lead, and they should be able to, yeah, I was about to say, get the ward off here. You know the Peanut is there. They'll be able to clear out the vision, though.
With a big wave crashing in, Elk and On need to be aware the enemy jungler can be near. You can actually see Shun skipping all of his bot side camps to work his way down here first. Puts a ward over the wall, catches Peanut. Should just be a trade here as the Pheromancy will get Peanut over the wall. On and Elk still pushing in, but I don't think we'll see a dive this early on.
So this is very common from Shun, often playing around the bot side of the map, something that we've been seeing a lot, pretty much ever since MSI. A large part of their resurgence and climb to the top, ending the regular season at 15-1, but was because of how dominant they could be in the early game. Their willingness to set up these early game dives, something that we shouldn't be too surprised to even look for in this game. Obviously can be very difficult against a champion like Tahm Kench, but something that BLG will definitely be considering, especially as they've already gotten that early push.
Yeah, I think you're going to try and get as much done pre-6. Post-6, the ganks become so much harder, even if you are able to overload and maybe get Yagao there, over there, right? Becomes really tough to consistently get the CC. So I really like this from Shun. Continued attention towards the bot side. Pays and the Light are pretty full. Do have their summoners available, but even blowing them would already be a big win.
Only cleanse on Pays as well. On can look for that handshake. Delight standing in front. There's the ignite. Pays cleanses with a flash follow from Shun means that Pays the ultimate price. Bailout on won't get him out of dodge this time. 1-for-1 trade in the bottom lane.
The play is worth it though overall for BLG. The amount of farm and experience, Pays does get a return kill, which is kind of the best case scenario for him, but we were just talking about this bot lane dive, and Shun without any hesitation says, what, just because you see me, you think that's going to stop me? They find first blood.
And as mentioned, Pace does pick up the kill, but the wave is bouncing away from them. Actually, highlighting Shun here. Really good follow-up on that flash, right? If he doesn't hit the flash, flag and drag, this might actually end up backfiring. But look at that. The last second reaction secures the play, because otherwise, On might die, and Elk obviously taking the next turret wouldn't have been able to really continue the play. So credit to the Jarvan there, getting that early pressure in.
Did see Dorman winning out on the top side early on here, about a wave of farm ahead, although the wave is crashing, so we'll see how much Bin can catch that. Kind of knows that his jungler's not going to be around top too much. You see the compositions and you understand that BLG will want to play through bot. Good news for Gen.G was that it was Shun that picked up the kill rather than Elk, so the pure 2v2 not as powerful yet for BLG.
What is really big now is how well BLG is able to punish the lack of summoners on pace, because I think that's something that LPL teams in particular are really, really good at. It is look for these mega aggressive plays when you know there is a window, and they're starting up Dragon right now. I don't feel like Gen.G should contest this, but it wouldn't be a first. We saw them do it against T1 as well.
I mean, Gen.G at this point in the game, obviously very early, should consider themselves much weaker. Only a few levels, and Kalista Renata is a duo that you really don't want to fight this early on, especially with Azir in mid lane, not really going to offer a huge amount of damage. I wanted to highlight, they've kind of phased away now, but two very deep wards, one in the lane from BLG and also just next to the Krug camp in the lane itself, so they can just keep information as to whether or not Peanut is trying any lane ganks. And you can see that BLG's game plan is so committed to playing around bots.
On's going to get rude. He doesn't have flash, remember. Flash forward by Peanut, and On pays the price. In the bottom lane, Gen.G back on the board. Pays gets his second of the game. Doran trading in the top lane. Grandmaster's Might onto Bin. Bin tries to turn it back around. Doran trying to get the empowered autos off. Both of them still have their flashes, but it's a trade of ultimates and not much more.
I mean, credit to Gen.G. I thought the BLG's control was good, but those wards that I was trying to highlight did disappear. They didn't have information on where Peanut was. They were pushed too deep into the lane when they didn't really have much information, and Gen.G make that look easy. They punish On's lack of summoner spells, and now they have the kill lead.
Ooh, Doran might get hot here.
Does have flash. Counter-strike early. Shun trying to get away from it. Eats a honey fruit, and it's fine for the moment. Doran forced away. Wave is crashing in, but you can see Peanut already worked his way up through this topside jungle, so if a dive does occur or materialize, Peanut is in the right position at the right time, and the Nut God's looking for something as they go forward. Bin has to flash away. Doran has a flash follow. Counter-strike coming out, and Bin is locked up and sent packing by Gen.G.
And Peanut, his pathing this game has been immaculate, covering for the early dive. Yes, they're able to get the kill, but at least Pace gets a counter. Then gets off the gank on without summoners, and then is top to not only cover for a potential dive on Doran, but even find an angle. Bin doesn't have his ultimate available, and they're able to get the kill.
Summoner spell burnt from Bin means that Gen.G definitely have early game options, and remember that the scaling definitely feels like it's in Gen.G's favor. They're going to have this Jax side lane threat that's only going to get stronger as the game continues. So Aphelios and Azir, their range is going to be very difficult to deal with, especially for a champion like Kalista. BLG need to find these advantages in the early game. So we have to question, what's the plan now for Shun? Are you going to look to dive bot once again? Because that's a stacked wave where there's no real opportunities. And with those chakrams, he thins that wave out immediately.
Would expect BLG to look for both the next dragon as well as an early herald. Chovy trading aggressively. Shun's waiting with flash available.
Yeah, just using the shockwave there to try and push Chovy back a little bit. Maybe just wants a recall, only sitting on the amp tone right now. Every dive bot becomes harder for BLG because Delight now has the Devour, and Peanut, they need an EpiPen or something because it's anaphylactic shock for BLG. The face call will get them out, but once again, an engage ultimate being burnt to disengage for BLG.
And that's the flash on Elk now gone, making it much harder. Although BLG will answer towards the top side of the map and pick themselves a Herald.
I mean, I kind of expected BLG to just push in that wave and rotate up towards the Herald to then look for a contest. Nice trading there from Bin. Doran forced to pop the ultimate. He needs to be careful now. Of course, he is on the weak side. Doesn't have much HP.
No
flash. He did get spotted.
Does Shun go with the Cataclysm? Might just be an EQ. Forces Doran back. Don't want to burn the Cataclysm, but Doran forced away. Rift Herald can come down. Shun, of course, has to wait to be out of combat to be able to place that. Bin's already taken one plate. Do they want more?
I think they'd much rather use the Herald bot, though. When you have this Kalista Renata, you want to make sure that they do have an advantage going into the mid-game. Ideally, you can get that first item spike before the Aphelios, so that when you get to these next dragons, Dragon 2, Dragon 3, you're in a stronger position around that 2-item mark.
Also saw there really good communication from BLG. The second that Chovy started roaming up to cover for a potential dive and make a counterplay is, oh, you go. Let's force the flash. We immediately saw the pings go down. However, Gen.G trying to contest this Herald. I don't know if Peanut reinforcements are on the way.
Delight's on his way across. No Fate's Call yet for Elk, so half the time on that, but they do have the hostile takeover if they want to look for more. Shun goes in, they find Pays. Cataclysm down, but the Devour already used by Delight. Now the hostile takeover popping as well. The shield from Pays, he tries to cleanse away, but he's slowed. Severum's going to heal him up, but Peanut pulled back with a handshake, and BLG win out the skirmish.
Really big win there for BLG, and this is the disrespect that we saw Gen.G show against T1 as well. The early power of this Kalista Renata can be so hard to deal with, and it's Shun that sets it up with a lot of upfront burst on pace.
I mean, massive disrespect from Gen.G.
Yeah.
I thought that they were able to escort themselves out with the support coming in from the bot lane. Notice as well, Yagao kind of has control over the mid wave as well, so Chovy can't come to assist. Jun with what felt to me like initially a very aggressive play, isolating himself from the backline, but he actually creates this wall that there's no threat onto Elk. He flashes away to safety, Delight is forced to flash away, and very quickly Gen.G is on the retreat with Elk and on the chase down. It's a bit of a shame that they don't give the kill over to Elk, but aside from that, BLG looking confident in this early game.
It's also the weakness of Devour. If you are swallowing up your AD carry, and you only have a Rel and a Tahm Kench there to try and put any damage back onto the enemy team, becomes very tricky. I like the Tahm Kench in team fights, but when it's a 3v3, it becomes a lot harder to make sure you're matching the DPS of BLG. Delight here trying to trade towards this dragon would be the second of the game for BLG, and Delight's just being a nuisance. He knows they can't take this away. BLG get their second 11 minutes in with it, about a 600, 700 gold lead. The question is, can they continue to accelerate this game? Because Gen.G, oh, they can't. They had to pause it. Don't know if that was BLG or Gen.G, but as soon as I say accelerate, we decide to slow the tempo down just a tad.
Does look like the pauses come out from the side of Gen.G. Of course, when we have more information, we will share it with you, but a very back and forth early game. Gen.G, no strangers to being proactive in the early game. Like during the regular season, Peanut was someone that was always willing to find ganks, always look for opportunities, and I was kind of like coming into this series trying to identify, is he like a top side focused player? Is he a bot side focused player? He tends to just kind of go with whatever opportunity he can find. Peanut's got a great awareness on the map of where he can punish small openings, and you've already seen it this game, right? Punishing the flash that's on in the bottom lane, seeing that Bin was slightly overextended in top, trying to push that wave underneath the tower, and he finds another play. Gen.G able to find these early kills, whereas BLG looking to try and match them. A small 800 gold lead. Question is, will that be enough as we get closer to the mid-game?
As you said, Betty, it was Gen.G who called for the pause. There was a peripheral issue for one of their players. League officials are currently investigating, and obviously we will continue to keep you informed as and when we get more information here on the desk.
And I think that right now both teams can look at this game and be like, we're in a pretty good position, because Gen.G, Paze hasn't been completely taken out of the game the way that happened against BLG last time they faced off. I think that that's the biggest weakness of this player has been, not even necessarily all up to him, but just in general, if he gets focused on really heavily in laning phase, he doesn't get to show his prowess in late game team fights. But he's fine, he picked up a bunch of kills, so even though he's behind in CS, he will still be decently when it comes to
300 goal ahead
yeah,
right
actually
now.
ahead even. Thank you, Vedi. And then we also have Doran with a lead, which on the Jax always is going to feel really good. But on the flip side, BLG have already stacked 2 Drakes, and their mid game is only going to get scarier for like the next 10-15 minutes. And it is an Ocean Drake, which I think is a pretty decent role. Yeah. It's not, you know, it's not infernal.
Cloud, you know.
It's not, well, yeah, speaking
great for my pick
to my heart there.
You know what I mean?
Oh, really? I went Hextech.
I think I went Ocean.
I went Cloud. I had no choice. But
well, I was going to say,
well.
aren't you bound to Cloud?
I am
by
bound
rules
to Cloud,
of the LCK?
Yeah. Just by Atlas, really. That's entirely on him.
But yeah, I totally agree with you. I think if BLG hadn't managed to pick up these 2 Drakes, it would be very Gen.G favored. But because now Gen.G kind of have to look at, do we fight the 3rd Drake? If we don't, we have to fight every Drake from there on out. Otherwise, we do give over this Soul. Of course, Soul's not a game ender, but it's still, you know, 2,000-3,000 gold worth of stats across your team that can absolutely skew fights in your favor, even if your opposition has the scaling advantage compositionally.
I think particularly with Aatrox and Renata, it is such a lethal combo to have the extra sustain, right? Because Aatrox is self-explanatory. As a drain tank, he's always going to feel really happy when he has even more healing in his kit. But I think the added bailout value that you can possibly eke out with an Ocean Soul can be really tough to deal with. And I think that Gen.G also, their team fighting has been amazing, but I do think that when they are pushed really heavily early on and they're not able to do the objective setups the way that they like to, we have seen them struggle somewhat in the LCK as well. So we'll see if they're able to retake control, because the Gen.G with control, as we saw domestically, is almost impossible to deal with. But right now, not really the case yet.
They have also shown us, even at this Worlds, that they can retake control. Like they played Gigabyte, they played GAM, and they played G2, and those were kind of as expected. They won those games convincingly. But against T1, they fell quite far behind in the early game. Faker's Oriana was 2,000 gold ahead at 14 minutes. But then Gen.G slowly got bit by bit advantages, small advantages, traded up a couple of times, and were able to start absolutely snowballing the game away from T1. I will say, in my eyes, a lot of that came to Delight being on a carry, being on an engaged threat with the Rakan. Here on the Tahm Kench, you don't quite have all of those tools. And as we see the ready checks coming out in chat, it looks like we'll be getting back into the game pretty soon. It was Chovy who had the peripheral issue, but it looks like it has been rectified, as hopefully we jump back onto Summoner's Rift.
So we're going to be jumping back into game, and if you are just joining us, this is the World Championship quarterfinal. Yesterday we saw NRG versus Weibo. And spoiler alert, Weibo did win. That means the winner of this series will be going on to face Weibo in the semi-finals. Many consider this the easiest side of the bracket, if you're Gen.G.
Or even BLG if they manage to win this.
Potentially, yeah.
The semi-final is easier than anything you could face on the other side.
Of course, depending on who you ask, that could be a controversial statement. Of course, we are going to be moving into tomorrow all sorts of incredible series, as well as move on to the other side of the bracket. But back into this game, Doran and Bin going for a bit of a back and forth.
A really good trade here from Bin's going to pull Doran back. Grandmaster's Might coming out. Now Doran does have Flash and Leap Strike, and so can escape. Has to burn both, though, to get to the security of his tower. And with Shun here, Pina is waiting in the wings. He's been very good at tracking his enemy jungler, being in the right position at the right time, but I don't really know if you want to take this trade. Chovy has TP, as does Yagao.
Oh, Peanut is hiding in the fog, but will get spotted now. I think just making sure that Doran gets the full wave. Teleport's available. It's still a really big window for BLG, as Peanut has to invest amount of time as playing.
Going for Pays. Now he has Cleanse, he has the Flash, and he has the Devour to get out. Delight down to about half HP, but the Thick Skin comes in healthy enough. Moonlight Vigil with the crescendum there from Pays, just to force Elkin on further back. But in the end, a trade of ultimates and not much more in the bottom lane.
Fortunately for Pays, this wave is pushing towards him, so he should be able to catch this. He knows that the jungler is on the top side of the map, so he shouldn't have to worry about any early ganks. He will lose a little bit of farm here, and you can see these discrepancies starting to build. The analyst desk did talk about it. When it came to this AD carry matchup, it was slightly more favored towards Pays, but when we think back to MSI, Elk was one of the breakout, standout players of the entire tournament. People were putting him in the conversation for best performing AD as Chovy.
Down has Flash, but he's not going to be able to get away from Pina, who lands the stun immediately. The shockwave only catches onto Chovy, and Yagao is going to get chased down here. Chovy puts down the soldiers, and Yagao is buried beneath their feet. Doran with a good jump away, but Shun chases in, and still it's only Shun that's picked up kills for BLG.
And it's punch and immediate counter punch. Gen.G are able to punish the Orianna, even with Flash up. Yagao realizes that there's too much damage available, doesn't actually get to survive, but Doran does get punished for his earlier play as Elk. There's no wave, so we'll see if they're able. Pays is trying to bring it in, but I don't think that there really is a window with more people from BLG moving over, and Gen.G decide the better of it.
Next objectives on the map. In 40 seconds, a Rift held, 2 minutes before the third Drake for BLG. If they fight around it, you can see On and Shun reacting to the pressure that their AD carry was put under. I do think that Elk will want to base pretty soon, pick up that first completed item. Overall, as you say, it's a bit of a boxing match between these two. Currently on points, no knockdowns as of yet. We'll have another look at this topside play, but see, Doran jumps in and Shun's like, you have no flash. Back in I go.
I mean, I often wonder if one of the disadvantages of picking Jax into a Jax main is you're playing into a guy that really understands the limits of the champion, and every time we see Bin trade, it feels like that he's always walking away with the health advantage. He's now got a half-level lead over Doran, who started the lane off very well, but I feel like after a few favorable trades for Bin, we've seen just a lot of pressure come out from Shun. Peanut has had to spend a decent amount of time trying to cover as well. And this top side of the map is very quickly swinging in BLG's favor. They now find themselves with a 2.5k gold lead, which, as they enter the mid-game, is exactly where they want to be. And
this is also something that Doran has struggled with, right? This is a player that really wants to prove, as we saw, jokingly is able to say, hey, you know, I'm not the star, I don't have a lot going on. But in his play, I think you can see he has a lot of these moments as the contest is going to come through.
TP in. Shun can look for this. Counter TP burnt by Yagao. Shun on the front line. Bin's going to dash across the wall. The Rift out down to 1,000. Hostile takeover, though, is going to do so much work. Pays already berserk as the line is forced away, and now Doran's in the midst of BLG, and Bin is looking to send him packing. Into the recycling he goes. Come back next time as Bin chases the rest of Gen.G away. Gen.G picked this fight, and they do not want it anymore. Chovy has to burn the flash as the voyage out from Delight is abyssal, and the fight for Gen.G was abysmal.
It's at this point in the game where BLG want to fight you, and Gen.G, Chovy looks for a play, gets the flash out of Elk, but it's just a consolation prize as Gen.G falls short in the fight, trying to force this when it feels like BLG at this point in the game should be so much stronger. Questionable play from Gen.G.
Not only that, I think it might also lead to them not being able to contest the third dragon, setting up Soulput. And if we look here, the engage is disjointed. Pace throws an ultimate into only on, and there is no follow-up damage thanks to the re-engage from Shun, and the way that the Cataclysm denied the rest of Gen.G entry to the fight, and then that allows Bin to pop off with his lead, and Elk at no point is under any threat.
The EQ from Shun was just so instrumental there. The way that he interrupted the engage from Peanut into the immediate ultimate from Renata meant that that front line just dissipated, and the positioning of Elk as well. Fantastic fight from BLG. Now they're in a comfortable lead against Gen.G.
I just think Gen.G can't be caught in a choke point like that. BLG, when they're first on the play, have so many options to funnel you into a choke point and then use Cataclysm, Fate's Call, World Ender from Bin. They've got the hostile takeover as well and the shockwave. Like, if you are funneled, there is no way you're getting on this BLG backline.
And one of the big things that set Gen.G apart domestically was their ability to identify we shouldn't do this and just go for a good cross map. And I think that that is something that internationally they just haven't really been able to show. And in this game, we're seeing it again. T1 is the team of, no, we take the fight. We just hand stiff it, it's fine. Gen.G have been so consistent over the last year and a half, I think specifically because they have been really good about which fights to pick. But thus far in this game, we're not really seeing it. Now, I do think that eventually Pace will reach a point, Chovy will reach a point, but if you keep giving up these type of fights to BLG, they're just going to run away with the game. Get a Baron, and this is done.
I mean, but when BLG went 15-1 in the regular season, it was play like this that got them there. This is how they were dominating the domestic scene. So we'll have to see if Gen.G can turn things around. Both teams are incredible team fighters. Sneaky steal there from Shun. But huge credit to BLG. Like, you think back at that tournament, they were able to beat KT, lost to JDG. Were able to beat Fnatic, they got smashed by T1. And coming into this series, you'd sit there and think, well, if you lost so handily to T1, you're going up against the bigger brother of Gen.G. Surely you should come in as the underdogs in this matchup. But BLG, they've brushed off the mistakes that they made in Swiss, and they're looking confident and poised to take game one.
And credit to Shun as well. Although he has been tracked well by Peanut and by Gen.G, he is still 3-0-2. He has still been involved in every single one of his team's kills, and he has still forced Peanut so far behind. Peanut still hasn't finished his jungle item. He's about to get it, but that's why he didn't win the smite on Gromp, because his smite does 900 and Shun's does 1,200. He is just too far ahead. Now, both the jungle items complete for these junglers. BLG setting up towards the top side of the map, because in a minute, the next major objective will spawn the Baron available to them if they want to play around it. Also, this vision line gives Bin a little bit more safety in pushing further forward. I think the last time we looked at the gold, he was about 1,000 to 1,400 gold ahead of Doran. And everything is coming up very, very well. 1,800 gold lead in the top lane for Bin.
Yeah. I was just about to say that gold gap is primarily focused on the top side of the map. You'll notice that Jun actually has the same amount of gold as Chovy, which is pretty good.
And Chovy's been Chovying. You know, he's 197 CS, almost 200 before the 20-minute mark. And he has been forcing Yagao back in the middle lane as well. We've seen him burn Yagao's flash a couple of times and get that kill. But when it comes to team fights right now, BLG has to be favored just because of the power of their composition on these item spikes.
And it's here where the early investment from BLG really paid off, right? Where the early dragon stacking, plus the fact that they were able to win the Herald fight, really is going to make a big difference because of the lack of turrets, the outer ring for Gen.G fully gone. It's really hard for them to maintain control of any area. So every time that they walk forward and try to set up any sort of vision control, it is immediately cleared out by BLG. And you don't really want to take a fight as Gen.G, so you just have to back off every single time. But that does mean that BLG is going to have a free setup for this soul point that is coming up in a minute and a half. And with that, 4-0 Drake also means a very early Elder, which I think BLG are going to be very happy about.
I also just really like the way On's playing these last few moments. He's doing something Treats talked to me about a little bit. He made a really good video on Mickey doing it in the LEC. It's tempo cycling. What you do is you walk down one side of the map as your support, and you're like, okay, I'm going to place 3 wards on this side of the map. Then you immediately reset and you say, okay, What do I do now? Well, I come up towards the top side of the map. I don't usually do this, I'm sorry guys. I walk in with my jungler, and then I place small wards on this side of the map. And what it means is, the enemy team is always trying to deny vision in their own jungle instead of getting deeper vision in. But also, if Doran is pushing the bot lane and he starts to move up, you can track him on his move. So you know whether he's investing the TP immediately or whether he's actually trying to run all the way up to a fight that can occur.
And means, look at the map. Look at the vision toggle here. Really, really well done by the observers. Like, Gen.G have zero idea. They're basically just walking into this, and of course, Delight and Peanut relatively safe, but they can still get collapsed on. I think Gen.G might be able to hit 2 item spikes on Chovy and Pays. We'll see if they feel like that's enough of an angle, because it does feel like if they don't contest for this this dragon, it is going to be really hard. The window gear from here out. Chovy does just now finish his Nashor's, Pays his IE as well.
Bot wave is pushed in for BLG. The fight over the mid wave has begun. Gen.G don't really have easy access into this bot river. The vision the medic highlighted earlier in favor of BLG. You can see the Yagao posturing towards the river. The dragon now alive. Elk will start it off.
They can't get to this, right? There's no vision. They have to try and make either play for the fight or go for Nash, but...
And Peanut can try and walk across it, but Yagao's doing a really good job of keeping the ball down. Peanut now going to try and chase forward, but Yagao is in the right position to stop them. The Magnet Storm for Peanut, he's nowhere near them! It's just miles away. They got an EpiPen or something, because Peanut not doing anything to them as BLG secure the ocean. And that was a Peanut at Worlds moment if I've ever seen one.
The engage goes wide. Gen.G now don't have an easy way to start the fight. Doran
gonna get brought back, pops the stopwatch, handshake coming out, Moonlight Vigil does hit the Infernum, there's the hostile takeover, Cataclysm onto the backline though, and Doran's been locked up, the Shockwave finds him. The Devour comes out as Chovy starts to retreat, but already it's 2 kills to BLG, and Gen.G are found wanting by the unwanted aggression from BLG.
And it's again BLG able to very calmly play out this scenario. They set up full control. They know that Gen.G has to walk in. Peanut has to go for a desperation play, but with the ultimate gone, no Magnet Storm, no engage, there is nothing that they can do than the turn from BLG, who are more than happy to look for a fight. That's Soul, and that's Baron.
We're seeing the weaknesses of Gen.G's comp, where when Peanut doesn't have an engage, how does Gen.G actually start a fight? Not that they really want to in this position, but Doran goes in, Chovy's forced to back away, Peanut is isolated, and then look at this engage from Shun. Oh my god, it's fantastic. 3 members get locked up. The Devour will come through after the ultimate to try and keep Chovy alive. Doran falls short, but the Wombo combo is strong. Pays and Peanut cannot get involved, and it's just a one-sided stomp from the side of BLG.
And I really agree with you, Veddy. I think the lack of engage for Gen.G is costing them so much, especially since so often it's been Delight on an engaged champion that sets up the fights for Gen.G. We saw it against T1, his Rakan, exemplary, but on a Tahm Kench, your entire job is to disengage. Yes, sometimes in lane we see Abyssal Voyages in, we see a fight beginning with it, but here you just don't have that luxury. And Gen.G are struggling because of it, and BLG once again seem to be Gen.G's kryptonite.
And now Gen.G, you're at the point of the game where you just got to hope that someone on BLG overextends, right? That they make a dive that is ill-advised. And I really, really like the point that you made, because about Delight specifically, because Delight on engaged champions has not only transformed Gen.G, but also was what made brilliance so good when he was on that team. What gave them the ability to just get upset wins every now and then. The Red Bull Baron power play for BLG. It's not backbreaking yet, but still, it's pushing them further and further ahead. And if they can get this inner as well, and maybe a few kills, it'll be really hard for Gen.G to find an angle back. Almost 6k gold lead here for BLG.
So this is where it can get a little shaky for BLG. They've got to get close to this tower, and look at where Chovy's positioning. He's standing just a little bit in front of the tower so that the soldiers can act as poke and as a guard to keep this tower alive, and BLG can't approach. They're very reliant on this empowered cannon minion. Meanwhile, we need to look at mid, because what damage has been able to do against this tower, he's getting a lot more work done. Doran can't do much to hold him off, and BLG at least will unlock a tier 2, but off the back of this Baron, it seems difficult for BLG to really break into the base of Gen.G.
BLG don't really have the range either. Kalista relatively short range, Orianna, I mean, you can put the ball down, but walking into melee range to try and get autos on that tower, or walking into auto attack range, doesn't do enough. The Shockwave doesn't hit there. Peanut held on to his flash in the engage around Dragon, so he does have that as a tool in his toolkit, but it does look like BLG are just hoping Bin can apply enough pressure in this mid lane to allow them to push through that bot lane. The wave's still about 5-6 seconds away, so not quite synced, as Gen.G have done a really good job of holding BLG at bay during this Baron. The hostile takeover comes out, Hayes able to dodge to the side of it, Berserk for Delight and Chovy, but the re-engage can come out. That's one tool invested by BLG. They still have the Face Call, the Cataclysm, the Shockwave, down for about half its CD. But that tower still stands strong, no wave in the mid lane for Bin to push on. The Baron now expires. And all in all, only a couple of towers fall during it for BLG.
Well, Gen.G held the line. Overall, the amount of damage done by BLG wasn't the worst, and it gives them an opportunity to fight at this Elder. The question is, will they be able to finish more items? Hang on, that Shockwave almost off cooldown, 6 more seconds, so Peanut's going to back away. I respect BLG's resilience. They know that the Dragon isn't spawning for another minute and a half.
There is also no control ward or anything for Gen.G behind him, right? So they can't go for the teleport flank. It's not like Chovy and Doran can get back on Nexus, and the persistence is rewarded here for BLG. Also courtesy to the Ocean Soul. In a situation like this, the continuous regen really makes a big difference.
The war of attrition, they're always going to win, right?
100%. And BLG now will be able to get fresh backs in. It's free items for Bin, free items for Elk, and Gen.G need a miracle to not lose Elder and the subsequent game here, right? Like, you need either a crazy steal from Peanut. I do think Rel is one of the best champions because of the Q and E extra monster damage. Or maybe Pace can hit his Lord Doms, but I feel like he's still so far off. Does actually finish it as I finish my sentence, but they have zero control. And BLG have 50 seconds to set up the objective here.
Well, it was an Elder Dragon that cost BLG game 2 against G2.
Hey.
So you imagine that they're going to learn from those mistakes. The amount of control they have right now, the observers are highlighting all of the vision that BLG have. And Gen.G are slowly being suffocated. They have that one control ward in the Dragon Pit.
It's the benefit of Ocean. It's the benefit of Ocean here for Gen.G. Now, Peanut caught out a little bit. Should be able to get his way away from this one. Shun now spots the control ward in the pit.
That's
well
big.
Done by BLG to make sure they cleared out all their corners. And Shun can look for more because Peanut dismounted right now. Remounts, you just go for it. EQ in, flag and drag, Cataclysm as well. Delight has the flash as does Peanut. Inferno from the side means that On is down to half HP, but that's so much invested by Gen.G. And with not too much gain, they have mid-wave prio, but will it be enough? Elder spawns, Elk starts it, Bin keeps Doran and Peanut at bay. No flash for Peanut, remember, just burnt it. But he can get into this fight. The Shockwave finds Chovy, Delight and Pace now beginning to step it up. Devour available for Delight. Pace dodges the Berserk for the hostile takeover. Already finds one. And Bin is done with this game. The Elder secure Pace. Tries to dash away, but Bin puts him in his place as BLG clean up in the river.
And BLG immediately head towards the bot side of the map. Wave is ready. No turret standing there. Doran desperately trying to draw some attention, but it was not enough. And BLG take a resounding victory here in game number 1, and it looks like Gen.G and Messiah might have been half a year ago, but it's not looking that different in game number 1.
A tale as old a time between these two teams, it seems, as BLG come out to an early lead and are able to snowball it away from Gen.G. A few mistakes for Gen.G. Doran as well in the top lane specifically had struggled into Bin after a few good early forays, and BLG never let go of the reins. Gen.G respawning, but the Elder still stands on BLG, and they can look for the fight. The Magnustorm finds 2, but Pace pulled back, and he's just deleted by the laser. Peanut follows suit, and BLG playing with Gen.G as they clean it up to go 1-0 up in this quarter. Roam around the map on when he can have an impact here. It feels a little hamstrung by the draft. We'll see what Gen.G can do though, because they lost game 1, being elected to be on the red side, and this is what they have conjured for us. Remember that you can log in with your Riot account on lolesports.com and watch Worlds live to earn exclusive Worlds emotes and icons. Chronicler, you've been showing me you want to talk for a while as Delight steps up, but On and Yagao should be able to walk away.
Yeah, so what I want to answer after a draft like that and Gen.G picking red side is, was this worth it? Do you feel like being on red side gave you what you wanted? And it's gonna be like, no, not really. I don't think that this is really making use of a lot of the powers of red side, right? Being able to get good lane matchups so that at the very least you're going to be able to consistently bully. Because Bin getting Huni is actually costing here in the arena as well. And I'm 100% certain he's giving his thumbs up. You know, Bin going for the ignite here. Do think that that is definitely the right call. Gives you so much more kill threat. But like, so that matchup is very Rumble favored. Then Shun, after a insanely good game, is on Jarvan again. Yagao died once, and then outside of that was just a very consistent Orianna. And you get Aphelios again with Melio, which is okay, but it's not like you're going to be able to bully the Xayah and Renata lane. So I don't know if the red side gambit really worked out thus far. BLG have so many power picks. I
love the question that you asked, Mao, because I think it's a really constructive way to look at it. And I think back to game one, and what were the issues with Gen.G's composition? Well, in terms of early game, I didn't really think that there were many issues. Peanut was going toe-to-toe. He was finding a couple of advantages, but they did fall short in the top lane 1 versus 1. Okay, that's fine. And they were struggling due to the pressure that happened on the bot side of the map. Going into the mid-game, their engage was a problem. They only had Peanut's Rel to actually start fights for them. And the problem with Aphelios Azir is it's hard for them to really find opportunities by themselves. Yep. So coming into this game, I was thinking in the same line of like, well, do they now have different things? And the reality is that, okay, they have an Aatrox flank, which you could argue is a little bit more threatening than that of a Jax. But the Maokai ultimate is something that, while offering zone control, I'm not entirely sure if it's necessarily that stronger of an engage. So I'm still concerned with Gen.G's ability to actually find fights as we approach the mid-game. As you see BLG once again have priority top, they have priority bot, while mid remains relatively even.
One thing the Gen.G composition does do well is disengage if they need to. Maokai ultimate, the Midio, and obviously the Azir. So if BLG do overstep for a fight, we could see that. But the handshake on Pays in the bottom lane. Warm hugs from Delight. That shield coming out, keeping Pays topped up around 300 health. The heal early here as they look for the chase. Elk and On both have their flashes. Elk already invested a Ghost flash forward. Twisted advance, knock back onto On. And Gen.G played to this tune in game one. The bailout coming out and On will be brought back. And now Delight is next on the menu, and Elk can turn it around. Double buff for him. It's going to be 2, but a great flash from Delight. Got escape from Elk. 2 kills to BLG in the bottom lane.
This bottom lane is terrifying. Wow, what a play from On. The fact that they just said, focus Peanut, and then he brought him back into range of Elk to get that execution. If nothing else, they were going to get a 1-for-1. They turned it into 2-for-1. Now BLG look for the dive.
Knock up on door, and he tries to flash away, but the chase is there, and the ignite is ticking. Bing tanking, the tower shots can flash away. Peanut trying to answer as well, but he can't face the might of BLG's top and jungle.
He just doesn't have the damage available. He's still level 3, and in the short span of 4 minutes, Bin's ahead. We have Pays. Yeah, he got a kill, but he's facing Elk, who got out of the gangway healthier, picked up 2 kills, and everything is on fire for Gen.G. Only 4.5 minutes in, they're 2k gold down. And even with Peanut investing the resources, the bot lane gang backfires. And on top side, he's unable to save Doran.
At MSI, it was all about Elk and Bin. It was all about these two coming up clutch, and we're going to watch back. Keep your eyes on for the most part. He's going to burn an early flash. The moment that they see that, Peanut commits the flash as well. But look what they do. The ignite and the damage gets dropped onto Peanut. Then the bailout goes onto On, keeping him alive long enough to assist Elk in getting that kill. Then the flash committed from Elk. Delight does the smart thing in trying to flash away, but a nice snipe from the Q. It means that Elk walks away with a double. And the light goes out for On.
And that is what this BLG bot lane can do to you. I think at MSI we questioned whether Elk would have a few happy moments, known for them. A little bit overeager at times to find a good play. Since then he has been so consistent. He's been such an integral part of the 15-1 record that BLG maintained through the regular season. Shun here smites away. On is looking for a little bit more. They can harass.
No flash.
Pays has flash though. They look for Peanut. The handshake's going to pull him back at Peanut. Even in the cozy campfire will find nothing but death and despair. Pays now chased away, has the flash to get across the wall. They try and turn onto Shun, but Pays has to burn his flash as Chovy goes in, but Shun won't even fall. The bailout was on him, wouldn't have revived him, but BLG are just outplaying Gen.G.
And it's the same mistake that Gen.G made last time, but this time it backfires even more. They go all in, trying to contest. Chovy isn't level 6 yet, needs to finish his back, then teleport towards the bot side turret just to try and be a part of that play. And now Elk is free in 0, and the Drake goes over to BLG.
Wow, what is Gen.G doing right now? We saw it in the previous game. They tried to fight the second Herald, and they ended up falling. They're trying to fight this Dragon rather than potentially looking for a cross map. You talked about how this is something that they have often struggled with, but expectations were so high. I thought this Gen.G is different. But the pressure, it feels like that it's beginning to mount for Gen.G.
And this would be the third time in a row that this team under-delivers, right? They've been the #1 seed from the LCK for 3 years. I think finals last year, or semifinals rather, it's understandable. DRX, their run was insane. They lost to the eventual world champion, and even though I think they struggled with a lot of the same issues, that one, that's one thing. Then BLG smashing them 3-0 after being the mega underdogs at MSI. That one was and felt backbreaking, but if they would go down in the same way the third time in a row, it would be a disaster for this Gen.G, who domestically, again, have been the most consistent team in the LCK over the last 2 years. Even though they didn't win Spring in 2022, it was them fighting against T1, and right now we're seeing nothing. BLG are just outplaying them on every front in the early game here.
And although BLG had a few hiccups in the playoffs over in the LPL, he continued to impress. There's the equalizer down as Doran walks out with the World Ender, but those wings can only carry him back to the safety of his tower. I thought for Gen.G as well, like, you're in Korea, man. You're in Busan, in front of your home crowd, and you are struggling. The weight of expectation grows ever stronger. There's Delight force low, Ignite ticking on him, but he'll be able to walk away. Shun has been spotted on this ward, though. Peanut's trying to answer, still only level 5. Shun knows it. Those little cats, the saplings, spotting him out, but all he really wants to do is make sure Elkanon can continue to push in. A Kraken Slayer was finished at 6.5 minutes in this game for the Xayah. And there's another plate falling to BLG. FaZe is fine, but probably doesn't feel it in the game right now.
I mean, the damage is already done, right? Because you have a composition that I'd argue in scaling and ease of execution favors BLG. Very straightforward to play. Obviously, you can jostle a little bit. Rather, there are a lot of elements on Gen.G, the Azir and the Aphelios, and I think the Milio helps a little bit. But like, if the enemy is sitting on a Kraken Slayer while FaZe is sitting on Berserker Greaves and have done Cole, that's not going to be enough. The amount of blade load going over is immense, and Gen.G look even more lost in this game than they were in the last one.
My concern for Gen.G is, if FaZe doesn't have Flash, how does he survive a fight? You know,
that's
no Tom Kench to either.
He doesn't.
In game 1, the whole idea behind the Tom Kench in the Jarvan trade was that you could take FaZe away to safety, but this time around, it's going to be a different story. Of course, Gen.G already find themselves at a massive deficit, 3k gold down, and huge credit to BLG. They've had so many question marks surrounding them. They fell short to LNG in the LPL playoffs. Their tournament run has not been even remotely clean, right? They struggled against the European teams. Fnatic, they had a difficult early game. They had to find a big team fight to come back into that game. And then against G2, they looked very convincing for the large part outside of losing game 2. Doran now going for a bit of a trade. Nice trading against Bin.
It's on his way with the Nature's Grasp as well, but you can see Shun ready to react. Bin rooted up. Shun is on his way. The equalizer down, and Doran's burning. Bin trying to turn it around, and Doran will fall first, and Peanut's buried next to his brother as BLG's strike.
Bin just refuses to fall. The man in the top lane, touted as one of, if not the best top laner in the world, finds a double kill with the help of his jungler. 6-1 in kills. 4.5k is the gold lead, and we're only 10 minutes in.
And yeah, there it is, the featured matchup presented by Mercedes-Benz. Doran versus Bin. It's not close. This is the power of that Ignite Rumble, right? Especially against something like an Aatrox, which, with enough time, can sustain through the initial burst of most champions. Bin starts off with the Ignite very early on, is able to flash out of Doran trying to set up for Peanut, and then Peanut, Doran, no, like, we're already all in, we gotta try and make this work, but Shun with perfect timing, able to counter the play. And Gen.G, they're not getting anything.
The crazy thing is, Bin's the least of your worries. Yeah, like Elk had a 2K gold lead in the AD carry matchup. There's pressure all across the board, and Yagao, he's doing what he needs to do. You know, staying stable, farming well in the mid lane. He knows that his impact is going to come in the team fights, and Gen.G is collapsing.
We are 11 minutes in, and it is a 5,000 gold lead, 2 Drakes and a Herald to BLG. The scoreline reads 6-1. Bot lane tower's about to fall as 5 plates have already been brought off there. Mid lane, we've already got a plate gone down. Top lane, we've already got a plate gone down. This is as one-sided as, with a little bit of exaggeration, any game we have seen at Worlds. As the TP comes up towards the top lane, Chovy's going to knock Bin back, and finally, Gen.G are finding something proactive. Bin is going to try and get his way away here. Will fall down, equalize on the wave to make sure it's cleared out. Gen.G find a small glimpse of hope, but oh, how small it is.
It's just not enough, right? And for me, the really telling thing is that when you look at this game, who are the players on Gen.G you feel like aren't carrying the weight? It's the veterans, right? It's Peanut, who has the longest career out of any of these players. Doran is still really struggling against Bin. And Chovy, I think, in his case, is playing on a 0. It's hard to really get anything going. Has been trying his best, but it just doesn't feel like it's enough.
And El's going to get 8 plates at least. He's in the top lane. Shun is here with the Rift Herald as well if they want to invest it. They could, of course, use it mid. You've got a minute and a half before the plates fall off. Chovy's going to try and tickle Shun to make sure he can't push too far forward. But On is here. Chovy, Peanut, and Delight trying to defend the tower. Doran on his way up as well. Yagao joins the fray. Another plate falls as Elk gets his 7th of the game. The Rift Herald now down. Elk autoed the tower recently enough. With his Rift Herald charge coming in, he'll be splitting that gold with his jungler. On got a piece as well. 1.5k lead now just on the AD carry.
It's... what else is there to say? It's just a slaughter right now for BLG. They're gonna have to throw. For Gen.G to win this game. Like, you can talk about the scaling as much as you want, but I feel like Gen.G's comp this game has the same problems that it has last game because its foundation is revolving around this Azir Aphelios, and in theory, the range gives you a big advantage. But in practice, how do you get to actually leverage that range?
Hey, Vedi, it's a really good comp if you're ahead and on objectives first.
I mean, sure, but even then, like, I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, Rumble Ultimate is really good at separating a front line from the back line. It's also got incredible range itself. Jarvan Ultimate, EQ ult, combined with the Rumble ult. You can also put an Orianna ball on top. There's a reason at Worlds this trio has been so terrifying, and Gen.G have just let them have it. And the craziest thing about it is it's not even that side of the map that built this early game lead. It's the bot lane 2 versus 2, the Xayah that's been the most terrifying. Now Chovy is in danger.
Has his flash, Cataclysm early. Shun can look for more, but isn't going to get the flag and drag flash away from Chovy as Elk and On were working their way up towards this top side. Rift Herald up in 30 seconds as well.
Nice timing there from Chovy, because your E can be interrupted by the Jarvan ultimate. The goal there from Shun was to get the flash. The fact that they ultimately got it, still a big win for BLG.
Yeah, I think Chovy there, if he gets tagged by the Harpoon, was afraid that the slow plus Ignite and Rumble will be enough to finish him off.
And it probably would have been.
It would. Oh, yeah. He has a Night Harvester and Sorkpan boots. Bin is to be respected on the Rumble here. And yeah, for Gen.G, like you're looking at that is a lane economy snapshot that, for me on a personal level, not the best, but you gotta respect what BLG have been able to do, winning every single lane.
In that MasterCard lane economy snapshot, 600 gold lead in the top lane, great. 1,000 in the jungle, 200 in the mid lane, 1.6k in the bot lane, 1.4k in the support. For everything else, obviously there is MasterCard. It's been a pretty priceless game so far for BLG, hasn't it? As they start up the Rift Herald as well.
You upset me.
Huh? Pun? It's good, Shima. It's a struggle for Gen.G. And the problem is, they've dug their own grave here. And that's why I am not too... I don't feel too sorry for them, I'll be honest. When you pick a Aphelios Maokai first on red side and you give up Rumble, Jarvan, Orianna, and Xayah somehow, you expect the game to go like this.
The most egregious is the fact that Xayah made it through the second ban phase and they said that we don't
Jinx
think
Ashe.
And it's also... Pace loves Xayah and is really good on the champion. It's not like it's a situation where, you have some players sometimes who don't really like the Xayah, who don't want to prioritize. that doesn't apply. And it really makes me wonder, as mentioned, Gen.G, we haven't seen a lot of them. They only played 4 games, right? And after that, they didn't play for, like, a week and a half. And right now, I feel like their mega range is...
What? What on earth? Peanut and Doran have been possessed in these last 2 games. The Magnet Storm engage in the river, and then Doran just flashing the wall. So
what
probably just timing someone's flash, but he just flashes in. Maybe he thought he could catch Elk. They did have a ward in there, but now that's the 3rd Drake of the game over to BLG, and it is looking dire for Gen.G.
I'm perplexed. I am. Like, it has to have been what you were saying. He must have been, like, timing the summoner spells, and he just didn't press enter, and I don't know, man. That is a huge blunder. Herald now being dropped mid lane. That's going to unlock this tower.
Hey, I'm a glass half full kind of guy.
Oh, yeah?
Wouldn't it really matter? It's fine. You know, that's the one.
If you're going to do it in any
problem
game,
in this game. Yeah,
this
game is a throwaway anyway. It's fine, Doran. Don't let it get to you, man.
You know Gen.G's history better than I do, and I'll give you the benefit of the doubt of even using, like, before the name change, like all that. When have Gen.G reverse swept? Have they?
I don't think, because I know there's a very low amount of reverse sweeps at Worlds. I think it's like only in knockouts it's like 3 or 4.
But also just like domestically. Gen.G, do they even reverse sweep a lot domestically?
No, they don't usually need to because they just win domestically. This team is so good, and that's why it's so surprising to see them play like this.
I wouldn't say surprising. I would say frustrating. I don't think it's surprising because we've seen it happen before at MSI.
Sure.
But, you know, that's me. I have a bit of a personal stake, and they go.
Dude, okay, engage onto Shun. He has the flash, goes in with the Cataclysm, and now there's the TP. Hostile takeover from On as well. Is going to catch 2. The Equalizer down, and Chovy is burning in the river. Lava underneath this speed as Doran probably regretting that lack of flash now as Yagao catches him with the Shockwave. The EQ combo from Shun sends him to an early grave. And the Church of Chovy is in session. You can hear it silent here. God they're praying to doesn't seem to be listening right now.
BLG are going to use this numbers advantage to put pressure onto the mid-tier 2. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to take this one, but pressure on the top side as well. This will give them full vision control. The good news for Gen.G is there really isn't anything on the map for BLG to take.
That's what we've gotten to! Yeah, there's no objective
we've
on
cast
the map!
enough EU teams versus LPL and LCK teams. We know where to go in this moment.
That's the bright side, buddy. There's not that much that they can really do off the back of that, but let's look. So shouldn't get spotted thanks to the sapling, and so Gen.G see this as an opportunity to find a pick. Great ultimate onto 2, followed up by that Renata ultimate. God, so much zone control. You wouldn't think of the river as a choke point, but to Renata it definitely seems like it. And BLG, they find 2 quick kills.
I just want to reiterate, that was without their 3 and 0 AD carry.
Yeah.
Elk was not there.
Elk is suntanning on the beach in Busan right now,
living
and
his best
just
life,
waiting
man.
for the phone call where they were like, hey, you ready to end the game? And he'd be like, all right.
Can you please make it over? He's like, but I'm having a nice time.
Yeah,
You know, it's the last days of fall. Busan
200
beautiful.
CS, he's Chovy and Chovy right now.
And we joke and we prod, but we do so because this game feels pretty much donezo. Gen.G obviously can still fight back. They do have tools at their disposal. If they can get to 2-3 items, if BLG make mistakes, they can jump in onto them, but BLG just haven't been making too many mistakes through these games. There's the Nature's Grasp as Gen.G look for something. Baron up in 10 seconds. If you find a fight here, maybe you can turn it into more. The hostile takeover being popped. Chovy dodges away from the Shockwave as Peanuts in the back of the pit. Doran trying to get onto Elk, but Elk yet untouched. And Doran, the warm hugs are not enough to keep him alive as Elk flashes forward. Pays is about to meet his maker as Elk sends him into the dirt.
And BLG see that one coming from a mile away. Gen.G in the desperation try to get anything, force a fight, but with the summoner still available, it's just not enough. And BLG about to take Baron and a resounding 2-0 lead in this series. Surely from here on out, within a minute, the Infernal Soul spawning.
The call comes through. The boys say, Elk, we need you. And without a moment's hesitation, he shows up for the squad. Look at this. They initially go on to on. The ultimate is good. The zoning shockwave from Yagao. While it does miss, it keeps Pays and Chovy out of the fight. And then Doran tries to engage isolated. Elk starts off there, but he says, I'm not done quite yet. Flashes in. Knows that Gen.G is on the retreat. And with his ultimate, finishes off the bot lane of Gen.G. Fantastic performance from him. 6-0-0 on the Xayah. He has a 700 bounty to his name. But I don't think anyone from Gen.G will be claiming that anytime soon.
10,500 gold, now the lead for BLG. 21 minutes into the game. The Infernal Soul spawning in 20 seconds. Maybe Gen.G can find one last bastion of defense around it, but they are just so far behind. It's 2.5 items on Elk, it's 2.5 items on Yagao. Only one apiece for Chovy and Pays. They do have bits of their next, but they are too far behind, it feels.
And I really do feel like that we're seeing the return of the regular season BLG.
Yeah.
It's been a bit of an up and down, well, few weeks, few months since their playoffs. But this team, when they get a lead, they look like one of, if not the best team in the world. They are just so ruthless with how aggressive they are off the back of these early game advantages. And Chovy will sidestep the shockwave, but huge props to BLG. I did not tout them as favorite. Oh, Chovy.
Neither of the mid lane is able to hit their ultimates in that trade. Yagao has a 2-level lead as well, and now is chasing Chovy and Peanut down. Chovy has to flash away. Peanut trying to trade back in, but remember, there's an Infernal Soul on this Orianna. The Sun Disc comes down as Peanut continues to be forced away. The rest of BLG are looking for the Nexus. Yagao keeps everyone interested as the equalizer popped on Pays.
Yes, TP.
Doran trying to defend, been pulled back. TP available for Yagao as now he recalls. Elk takes the first Nexus tower and BLG start to disengage.
I'm pretty sure Yagao actually flashed Chovy.
Oh, Pays is rooted! The breath of life! Oh, just about keeps Pays alive, but now Bin and Shun are looking for more. They've taken Doran, Bin will fall. Yagao TP's in, no shockwave on him for about 20 seconds, but the EQ flash onto Chovy, he dashes in, but Elk has the escape tool. Feathers fly and Gen.G die in their own base. The Baron buff remains for 20 seconds more. Pays has flash, no ult, no dash away as he now flashes to escape. Only the cannon minion surviving here, but BLG makes the push a little bit harder, and it looks like they will finally disengage.
BLG have done the damage that they need to. The gold lead, nearly 13k now, not that it really matters at this point. And this is just a slaughter. What is there really to break down? Yagao generating pressure on the top side of the map. Jun engages onto Doran, he gets executed. Pays is forced to flash away on the right-hand side of the fight. And while Bin does drop, On goes for a bit of a cheeky flash play. The knock-up on a Chovy means that he loses his life as well. BLG just systematically dismantling Gen.G.
And you can see from some of these fights, if it was a more even battleground, Gen.G would have a chance. TP away. And Doran will escape. No CC there on unable to get the handshake in time.
Yay! He makes it out!
Gotta take the wins. These small advantages. That's a very Westerner approach.
I mean, yeah, as you earlier said, like what do you say? BLG is just every single lane is winning. In the draft, I think that Gen.G, as mentioned, picked red side. What did they have to show for it? Basically nothing, except the Milio, which was faced with a 2-0 Xayah like 4 minutes into the game. And BLG are about to set up for a extremely strong position in this best of 5.
I wonder if Gen.G will switch over to the blue side once again.
You gotta imagine.
They do have side selection for the final game. Maybe bring a different rabbit out of the hat than this. The draft, not the easiest for them to execute. Now, the mid lane inhibitor tower, the target for BLG. No Baron for them, though, makes the siege a little bit harder. Super minions pushing in bot wave, but second will join its comrade as Doran goes across to push that back out. Will take him a little bit of time, but it looks like BLG satisfied with what they've got for now. Just want to deny the jungle, deny this red, deny everything from Gen.G.
So it looks like the BLG are just going to wait for the Baron. They're so strong at this point that they can probably 2 or 3 man it. So you can just have Bin sit in the jungle and try and zone away Gen.G. maybe have On work with him as well, while the other 3 members of BLG just secure the objective. You can see that Jun not even choosing to base, still has his control ward available. Full vision denial on the top side of the map. Gen.G, just, they don't see anything. It is completely dark on this top side. Chovy's too scared to even last hit because there's no way Shun's still in the jungle, right? Right? Nope, he's still there and he will be spotted now. He wants to try and protect this vision. The bot wave pushing in as well thanks to the super minions. No TP available for Doran, means that Chovy's going to be forced to go and answer it. Blue buff being picked up by Yagao, who's now level 16 as well. Just Gen.G need a miracle steal, and even then they need another one.
I mean, look at the item discrepancies, right? Chovy doesn't even have a mythic. Pays is sitting on like 2.5, whereas Elk is approaching 4. Shun, obviously, monstrously strong, has the Shojin finish as well. Gen.G, it's a 13k gold deficit here. You're fighting against Infernal Soul. Even with a steal, I don't think it's enough.
The thing is, even if it's a steal, you get the fight that you look for, but Peanut decides against flashing in and trying to smite the Baron. Super minions pushing in the bottom lane. Reset starting to happen from Yagao. He can TP into these supers. Baron buffed them up quickly. Instead, TPs to the mid lane to join his team because he knows Chovy has to answer the minions battering down the base. Shun goes forward with the flag and drag, and that's another inhibitor tower forfeit by Gen.G and happily taken by BLG. Time is running out for Gen.G, at least in this game. Maybe in Worlds, if they can't find a way to fight back against BLG in Game 3.
BLG were underdogs at MSI, they're underdogs here again at Worlds, but despite that they stand strong and they're looking to go to match point against Gen.G.
It has been destruction, demolition, the most one-sided series we have seen in a while here at Worlds. Peanut has to flash away. The Cataclysm in will end Chovy's day, and now Doran and the rest of Gen.G can only stand and watch on the fountain, but even there, they are not safe from the unending assault of BLG.
Tools to do more, but the pressure's on. They're down 2 games now, and their year can end right here, right now.
What a year it would be to end it in such a fashion. You guys can collect your League of Legends account with Prime Gaming to grab the exclusive Form W emote. But what a year it would be, you know? Champions of Spring go to MSI, touted as one of the favorites. End up losing to BLG 3-0 in what was a shock defeat at the time. Champions of Summer go to Worlds as one of the 2 favorites. End up losing to BLG in a shock defeat once again. I think, although some people did have BLG as possible winners of this tournament, I don't think, of this series, sorry, I don't think many people had them as probable winners of this series.
I think you'd be far-reached, far-stretched, one of those phrases, to find someone that would predict a BLG 3-0.
Yep.
Coming into this series, especially when you just kind of look at the games at Worlds, Gen.G was undefeated coming into this series. They looked like one of the favorites coming into the tournament, and then they just demonstrated that at every stage of the tournament, whereas BLG had some very up and down performances. Even in some of their wins, they looked very chaotic and messy, and against T1, they got absolutely smashed in both games. It shouldn't come as a surprise that BLG were doubted, but their performance in this series has been incredible. And huge credit to Bin, his flexibility in the top lane. He was targeted, he brought out the Rumble in last game, and, you know, to me it looked like that he was every other Rumble main we've ever seen. He had a very clean performance. And Jun now getting his hands on the Jarvan once more. Let's see what he can do with it. Full clear on the top side once again. Don't be surprised, though, to see him immediately path towards bot.
Yeah, has done it in game number 1 as well, right? Just clear your entire top side, then path straight towards the bottom half of the map. Chovy taking a turret shot, there you go. Winning the mental war, emoting. And I'm pretty sure in the last game as well, because of the event at the beginning of the year, every player on the green side that won, they got their own emote, right? I'm pretty sure Yagao was flashing Chovy's own emote head in the last game, which, that's got a sting, right? You're
which,
up
considering
2-0.
Mid has had like very little impact in this series,
not been about
ballsy
mid.
play, I respect it.
A lane that has had a lot of impact is bot lane. Elkanon getting the push early on here. We talked a little bit about how it's basically impossible for the Nautilus to play effectively into the Braum
Oh,
if you
is
ever
that
go
Shun
in.
looking bot lane for a dive at level 3?
What a surprise! He might even just be looking to catch out Peanut, who will spot him as he comes through with the flag and drag, knocks him back. The sapling doing a bit of work here as well. Jun forced away.
So he's creating an interesting dynamic here because Delight is now divided between what he should do, move to assist the jungle or stay in lane to assist Pays. And now Jun is just reapplying that pressure, knowing that Yagao has that health advantage in mid. On has now made his way across. And it's just Jun playing around the pressure that he has. Chovy's likely going to be forced to TP. No smite coming out from Peanut means that he's going to lose his red buff.
And Pays and Delight couldn't move as quickly. Like, Delight can because he can lose a little bit of that XP as the wave crashes in, but Pays really wants to be there for the gold, for the experience, and there was a massive wave underneath his tower.
It's good usage as well of the weakness of the Yone, right? Like the first 6 levels are just not going to be fun. Chovy's trying to counter-trade as much as he can, but Yagao is doing a really good job of continuously harassing him with autos, keeping the wave shoved in, so... Even without the fact that you're looking at like Jarvan and Braum, whose early game is obviously extremely dominant, there isn't really an opportunity for Gen.G to find any counterplay back there. And BLG generating some early leads yet again.
They're not too monumental as of yet. Can
It's
sometimes
small.
feel like the flow of a single game kind of follows the flow of the series, but so far Gen.G are in an okay position. A CS lead for Chovy, in fact, in the mid lane.
Yeah, props to Chovy, doing well. He's going to buy a bunch of daggers. Always makes me laugh seeing those pickups.
It's General Grievous, man. He's got his lightsabers, he's ready for a fight.
More
They're all
sword.
blue, so he's been killing the good side.
He needs, how many is it? 6?
I don't know.
He's getting close.
I think General Grievous's collection just expands.
Yeah,
Depends
he
what
has
you
6
count
arms.
as canon as well, really.
Sure, yeah. I don't want to get into that. I'm not too well read up on that.
Nor am I.
Why would you engage the conversation?
Because I was hoping the conversation would end after I made the joke. And
No.
then you decided to continue.
Yeah, of course
and
I will.
understand as an LCK caster, that's your prerogative. But
my
maybe we
natural
talk about the
instinct.
quarterfinal that's happening in front of our eyes.
No, we can stick on that topic. Continue, Mao, it's fine.
Yeah, I love Star Trek.
Very, very little action is happening in this early game. Jun wasn't able to find any early ganks, and Gen.G's happy because they don't find themselves at a massive goal deficit, only 5 minutes in. So what are your thoughts on Star Trek?
No, because actually I have a serious point to make. I want to talk about Peanut because even though this series he's been abysmal, one of his biggest strengths, I mean he has been.
I mean, that's fair.
His biggest
ruthless. I respect it.
His biggest strengths domestically has been dealing with early pressure really well, and it's been something that he's always been very vocal about. And it is the mental resiliency of Gen.G within individual games domestically that make it all the more jarring to see how this series have gone thus far, right? Because I think game number 1, you know, that it's a tough loss, but you made a couple of big mistakes. You should be able to kind of just adapt from that as Shun is moving towards the bot lane, but not going to risk anything. So that looking to start the Drake with double prio, should be able to.
And BLG have been playing really well around their bot lane prio in
Very
terms
much
of
so.
early objective stacking. It's a 22-minute soul, I believe, in game 2.
They have actually gotten every single dragon.
Oh, not a single dragon so far
in this
from Gen.G.
series thus far. Yeah, I don't know the dragon takes for MSI, but I wouldn't be surprised if it holds true there as well.
I mean, bot lane prio gives you that. Like if you want to play through bot lane to dragon, having the bot lane that always gets the push helps you out a huge amount. As we see the dragon secured for BLG, Shun getting that one. You can see Peanut on the top side of the map. Did develop a little bit of a lead, but Dorman's been able to bring that back. Well, I actually say that, it's still a 14 CS lead for the BLG top laner. And the struggles that we saw at MSI continue.
I mean, overall, this early game has been very tame compared to what we've been seeing so far in the series. Chovy, again, doing very well in terms of farm. Bot lane as well, Pays doing a very good job. Flash.
Delight here for the flat. No! Oh, the anti-synergy, it's all over the place! Oh, Gen.G were just not on the same page. They weren't even reading from the same hymnal. That was diabolical.
It was awful.
And these are the type of moments that, particularly in game 3, when you're down 0 and 2, can make the big difference. Delight and Peanut, not even remotely on the same page there.
Yagao even hit them with the emote, the yawning Teemo, you know. And that's the most disrespectful, because Yagao didn't even do anything.
He got to flash because they missed it all.
Yeah, it was just Gen.G. You know, like, at first it was a bit of a meme, you know, that they get to quarters or semis, then they, you know, they choke, they falter. And then last year happened where they lost to DRX, and, you can rationalize, well, DRX is having the tournament of their life. But now, like, it's going to be very difficult for Gen.G to shake this perception around them, because it doesn't matter how they perform domestically when you're the LCK first seed. The expectations that fall on your shoulders are astronomical, and they are not meeting or living up to those expectations.
And the weight of those expectations when you are in front of your home crowd as well. When you are expected to beat the second seed from the LPL, when you are the favorites coming in, only accentuate those circumstances as the Nature's Grasp comes out. Smite secured by Peanut as they look for the engage world ender. Chovy with a great base seal, locks up two. Yagao trying to join the fray, pin low, but he's able to dash away. Dora going forward. First blood to Gen.G, and signs of life for Gen.G, and signs of life here in Busan.
And Yagao doesn't have flash because of the earlier play. We'll see if Peanut can extend, but he dies!
Shockwave, Peanut goes timber, ace in the hole onto light. The Glacial Fish are going wide, but flash ignite into the Piltover Peacemaker is enough for BLG in the bottom lane.
The trap placement from Elk was crazy there. There was no effort to light to go. Bit more chip damage coming down onto Pays, but BLG are the ones to overstep. But it's still BLG the walk away with a kill advantage thanks to the bot lane 2v2. Gen.G, as you said, Medic, showing some signs of life, finding a good skirmish around the Herald. And they secured the objective, so definitely still ways for them to find leads in this early game.
And Yagao punishing the overextension from Peanut really beautifully there, right? Has his ultimate still available, and even without the flash, a lot was invested. And the reason why this works out for him is because both Doran and Chovy basically throw everything at the Renekton and Jarvan there. We've seen a lot of engages on Aatrox not really work out. This is another example. They're able to take down the Renekton. The fact that Shun survives, actually a really big win for BLG. But here, Peanut, like, you don't have the health.
I don't think he was expecting that damage. I mean, he had the passive, right, so he thought W into Q maybe. But look at that trap placement there from Elk. Like, where does the light go? He's like, I'm trapped, I'm stuck. Gets ulted on, and then the ignite wasn't even, I mean...
yeah, they used a lot more than they needed to get
but
that
hey,
kill.
They made it work. 2v2 kill found. Delight now.
Depth charge onto Elk. He still has flash, he still has heal, but where's he gonna dash to? As the Gen.G bot lane comes to life as well. Gen.G 2-2 now. They have the Rift Herald in the pocket of Peanut. Do they want to just put it down and invest more gold into their AD carry? It looks like it.
Look at the faces of the Gen.G fans. Cautious optimism for now. They will equalize the kills, and Pays getting a crucial one will help close the gold gap between him and Elk. He needs those plates, and he's going to get some gold off the back of that. So a much needed play there for Gen.G. Delight finds his opportunity.
Going in with the Soul Unbound, pull back with the shockwave, but he can dash away. The face seal blocked though with the Cataclysm, and Chovy will fall every time Gen.G get on the board. BLG answer.
And Chovy got a bunch of help, wasn't able to take down Yagao. Yagao gets one gank, says thank you very much, is able to pick up the counter kill. Credit again to Shun, right? Blocking.
Helps when your teammates hit their skills.
Yeah, that turns out then gank's a lot better. We do see, as mentioned, the fact that Pays at least is playing in this game helps a little bit, but see if Gen.G can get another play going here, as the Drake has been started up. Drake stacking for BLG has been really big this series.
Yagao has no ultimate. Peanut has his. The Nature's Grasp possibility is there's the Glacial Fisher. Nature's Grasp used, but they all line up. Good hook onto the back line as the TP is now invested from either side. Chovy trying to come in from the top side of the fight, but Doran's already dead. And now Pays them to cleanse away. The ace in the hole finds its prey, but only 100 HP left now on the Gen.G AD carry.
And Gen.G is a team that usually is so on the same page, but there they weren't. Chovy wasn't able to join the rest of the team, and Doran's teleport gets immaculately punished by BLG. We're able to pick up the kills and surely pick up the dragon as well.
Yeah, I mean, that response from Pin, We saw him do this so much in the G2 series, the rate at which he's able to react with TPs to make these cross maps happen. The moment he sees that Doran TP come through, he joins the rest of his team, and Yagao having that priority in mid, getting that kill onto Chovy, delayed his involvement, and Gen.G again going for a fight that they think they can win, but the numbers aren't in their favor. You can see the TP, Yagao is already here. Chovy's catching this mid wave, and Gen.G's saying, well, if we TP in, Bin's forced to stay underneath this tower, but he just abandons the wave top lane. He doesn't care, he wants to be here for the fight.
It's also Delight going in when no one else on the team is ready, right? So he's going in, there's no actual follow-up on the damage. Everyone just stands behind Braum. BLG, again, denied the Dragon. Still nothing when it comes to those for Gen.G in this series.
BLG playing really well around cooldowns as well. No ultimate for Pays, no ultimate for Delight in that fight because they had been used to catch out Elk, and now Pays, no summoners as well for the next 4 minutes or so. BLG 1,000 gold ahead. Chovy trying to do everything he can to get ahead on this Yone, but already Leandri's complete for Yagao. Doran trying to keep Bin at bay. He's doing an okay job of it, but the rest of the team crumbling a little bit around him. I mean, the whole team's just crumbled throughout the series. Doran has exemplified that.
No TPs.
Games 1-2, no TPs, as you say. Delight trying to step forward. They can hold. They had the killer instinct at the depth charge, but Delight.
Yagao's on his way as well.
Damage.
These Caitlyn picks at this tournament have been incredibly oppressive. We did see Gen.G try to answer it yesterday with the Ezreal Karma to, honestly, in the laning phase, great effect, but the level of harassment that this champion can provide is so difficult to deal with, and Gen.G have felt the pressure. 2K is the goal lead now for BLG, and with 2 dragons up, Chronica, you already talked about it. Gen.G haven't even been able to taste a dragon this series, as BLG have just controlled that objective with this early game dominance that their bot lane 2v2 consistently finds.
And right now we see Gen.G making a position. I feel like something that I want to highlight as well. To me, I feel like Gen.G haven't truly won a single skirmish, right? It's always been a 1-for-1 or a 1-for-2, or they get the objective but they lose on the cross map. And it's something that they usually were very consistent in. Not going to be the case here as BLG will give up the Herald.
I think part of it is exemplified here. If BLG had been doing that Rift Herald, Gen.G would have run into them and tried to take the fight. BLG say, okay, cool, we don't think we can win the fight of the Rift Herald, so we'll let you have that. We'll go down towards the bottom side. Yagao is pushing in. We'll gain control of your bot side jungle, maybe even take a tier 2 off this, because you have to go the long way round to get down here. And if Chovy then overstepped into his own jungle, he'd be caught out. So they lose the red buff, they lose their bot side jungle, and yes, Gen.G got the Rift Herald, but BLG didn't give them any more than they needed to in that situation.
And BLG just controlling the map very well right now, taking their time, using their pressure. Yagao has the TP bot lane. Doran in a position to go for a fight, but been respecting it, knowing that his side is the weak side. Peanut going to interrupt some bases here, just to be a little bit more annoying. But overall, BLG continue to look good here in this early game, and we talk about the pressure, it only continues to mount, but I am more optimistic that Gen.G have a few more options in this mid game.
Yeah, it feels a lot more like game number 1 as opposed to game number 2. Game number 2, obviously, not a lot to be done. I also want to highlight the one upside of that play towards bot side, where BLG got the Dragon, is that it actually equalized the top half of the map, right? So Bin gets his team ahead, but it does mean that Dora now does have an item lead. We'll see if he's able to use that, though. We remember in game number 1 on the Jax, he got an early kill as well. That didn't really translate to a whole lot. And I think this Dragon in a minute is going to give us a really good indication of whether this series is going to continue. Because Gen.G, they have the power, the backline dive. Will they actually be able to execute? We haven't really seen it thus far this series. And all the sums on BLG are available as well. So the CC chain needs to be immaculate. And then, you know, if they get back to that mid lane play, I'm a little worried.
We'll see. Maybe things have rectified themselves over the last few minutes. 30 seconds on the Cloud Drake. It is a Cloud Soul here for us. Fitting for Gen.G, a comfort zone perhaps. Maybe they can fight back on their home turf. BLG have vision control around that Drake. Gen.G now starting their recalls. I wonder if Gen.G will decide to fight it. Obviously Cloud Soul is powerful, but not as much as an Infernal or a Hextech or even an Ocean or a Mountain. Basically, it's more powerful than a Chemtech Soul, and not much more powerful
I
than
think
the
you're
others.
severely underestimating Cloud.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, I just wanted to highlight Pays interrupting Jun's back there. He wanted to get a cheeky base off before the Dragon started, but not going to result in a huge amount. The Herald actually being dropped to help give that extra pressure in the mid lane for Gen.G. They actually have access to the river here. Notice Chovy pushing in that bot wave. So Yagao's still sitting top. Yeah, TP's actually going to come out from Bin to answer. He'll be a bit separated from his team. But all right, here we go. Third Dragon of the game. It's Gen.G that are first to the objective. I think BLG are actually just going to give this one up. Yep,
they just decide top lane tower is more important. Bin makes sure they don't lose the turret off it as well. So it's a Drake for a tower trade across the map. Also vision control gained once again by BLG up towards the top river. Not too much of it. Wasn't quite able to see exactly how much they got because obviously we see the Orianna there. But there's the TP. Nature's Grasp coming out as the collapse onto Peanut was a possibility, but in the end doesn't bear fruition.
Small win there for Gen.G on specifically the teleport, but yeah, BLG still going to be happy with the trade. Giving up a single Drake, not the end of the world. TP coming in here, they want to hold onto this turret.
Chovy has TP as well. No wards behind for him to get to. And with the snap trap lineup, it's very hard for Gen.G to hold. TP seemed a little over-eager from Gen.G there. Felt like the tower was pretty much lost. Could have just kept pushing in the bot lane, but they tried to invest some resources into defending. Delight is looking for Yagao, but Shun steps in the way. The Redemption coming out as well. The Killer Instinct, a possibility here for Pays. He dives in. They find Yagao. The shockwave. It's not going to be enough. And Gen.G proactively find the enemy mid.
A really good punish as Delight and Chovy are sitting in the top side river, and they notice that Yagao and Shun are just kind of lackadaisically walking through the river. Great awareness, though, from Yagao. You'll notice that he takes a step back. He's actually hesitant and so might be in the brush. Unfortunately, the hook connects onto Shun, which is all Delight needs to then connect the ultimate. Pays with the quick follow-up means that Gen.G get themselves another kill.
Yeah, see there as well. Even though the Kai'Sa has dropped someone in priority, with Xayah being a lot better in a mirror matchup, and then also new answers in the form of the Senna and Kanj have come through. These type of moments, particularly once you hit the second level of Killer Instinct, are so good. And everyone on Gen.G actually has set up for Pays. In these type of scenarios, we can target one or two individual members. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if BLG gonna remain tight-knit for most of the remainder of this game, as to not give Gen.G an opening to try and pick up individual targets.
That is where Delight shines, though, when he has a little bit more agency under his belt. We talked about it. And we saw the Enchanters, the priority for Gen.G earlier. BLG, though, once again gaining control. The Shun Elk on combination
right now?
has been so strong throughout this series.
Yagao doesn't have TP, so probably not. But I was looking at those trap placements and thinking, maybe they're trying to bait something here. But, okay, keep your eyes on Yagao. He's pushed out bot wave, now starting to move. Chovy does have the TP, so maybe BLG could just try and get the TP out of Chovy. Then when you set up for the next Dragon, both TPs for Yagao and Bin will be available. All right, looks like that they're not going to risk it. They're just going to spend that vision reset on.
Does have the flash. The trap on Delight will slow him up, but Delight deciding no hook needed in that situation. Pays was there to close the gap, but I think his Killer Instinct still a few seconds before it's back off cooldown.
Yeah, also just in general, going to be hesitant, right, to engage on the Braum as Chovy. Going to use his health bar to make sure he gets his turret. Wouldn't be the first time that teams have tried a hard engage, and I think it was a lack of vision as well. So Gen.G not taking any risks, and it's a good call because they are very much with their backs against the wall here. Even though this game is a little bit closer, Gen.G have been able to find a big lead, break open the game, and take control. Gen.G
have done a great job of slowing down the game, though,
Very
getting
true.
it into a position where there are two items on their carries. Chovy has two, Pays has two, Doran building up towards his second as well. They are matched, obviously, by BLG on the other side, but compared to Game 2, at least, much stronger performance from Gen.G. BLG do still have the power of Elk and Yagao in these team fights. Shun has been so wily in finding his engages as well.
Sorry, every time I watch Chovy, he's always got a new Yone build, and now it's Stride. I remember the Evan Shroud.
Yeah, it was an Evan.
Yeah,
it was
Jack
also
Show for a while as well.
It was also the guy who played Sunfire.
Yeah, Sunfire.
No, the man loves his. So
now he's going Stride
builds.
Breaker. I mean, all right. It gives him a little bit more durability, helps him stick to a target.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what he's concerned about. Champion like Caitlyn. with her range and with the E. Maybe wants to make sure that he can close that gap, and once he does, Elk can't escape. Regardless, we'll see what Chovy can do. He's doing a great job on a side lane, 230 CS to his name, and getting close to level 15 means that the longer this game goes, the more options Gen.G are going to have.
He's desperately trying to get to his Young, not going to be the case. Peanut not able to take that shot. And BLG have a first move and control of the river as we go towards the dragon.
Gen.G don't have to contest this.
They don't.
But every time we've said that so far this series, they have then contested
they've committed
it,
2 TPs to mid lane now.
There we are, Chovy and Doran join the fray. Stopwatch completed on Chovy. I think a fight is brewing. Bin locked up for the moment. He'll be able to dash away. Chovy pulled back by the Soul Unbound. Gen.G don't really have the vision control as of yet. They're going to try and garner it now, but there's wards behind them as well. The Dragon started, would be the second for Gen.G, down to 5,000. Bin with the Dominus, slowed, stopped by Doran, who acts as a bodyguard now. The hook onto Bin, knocked up with a death charge as well as Bin tries to heal himself up. Chovy getting onto the back line with the shockwave, pulls him out, shot out! Chovy down, but here is Pace to find another. The Dragon going over, flash away from Elk, twisted advance, they dive as well. On the front line, trying to get in the way as Shun forces Pace away. Shun will take down Pace, and Elk still standing like he's ever been for BLG. Elk still survives, but Doran finally comes to life. A triple for the Aatrox as Gen.G even out the fight.
It's 4 dead on either side. The Dragon goes in favor of Gen.G. Doran looking for one more. Shun, can you escape?
He saved everything in this series for this moment. Can't find Shun, but finally Gen.G find an even fight and find the objective.
And key thing here, do take note of the positioning of Pace. Bin takes a lot of upfront damage, but that's what he wants to do. Doesn't go down. Then Chovy here gets caught by Yagao's ultimate, and as a result, it feels like Gen.G is losing the fight.
And look at the flash here from Elk. Great response from Peanut and the follow-up, but Shun and On with the flash response to immediately lock down Pace and try and protect Elk. So you've got 2 fights going on. Doran killing the backline of BLG, while Peanut and Delight do what they can to kill Elk, but they just don't have the damage. He's just barely surviving, and it ends up being a battle between Doran and Elk to equalize the fight 4-for-4.
If Elk doesn't hit that flash, like that's a fight win for Gen.G. His reflexes, and sure, look at how much damage he was able to put out as a result.
Oh my word.
But also, that's a big moment for Doran. Doran is a momentum player, and he hadn't really had a great moment in the series thus far. That fight gonna make him a menace in any upcoming skirmish.
I mean, the biggest thing as well, as you talked about it, Chronicler, Chovy was basically irrelevant in that fight. They basically won it 4v5. Admittedly, Bin was taken out very quickly, and now that he's got the Starax, it's going to give him a lot more survivability. But let's quickly look at all these summoner spells. Everybody's flash is down. Ultimate to back up. Chovy does, of course, have the flash, but as BLG threaten the Baron, a lot of these summoners being down means that these fights are going to be that much more lethal. And here we go, BLG begin it.
Started up, Will got spotted, but I don't know if Gen.G can walk up. The zoning of the traps and the ball.
Doran's so far away.
Doran is a mile away, but BLG disengage it. The Baron's still aggroed down to 7,000. BLG get what they want out of the fight, or perhaps just don't want to fight any further. Baron resets, Elk getting mid lane prio. That's going to be matched by Paze, who works his way down there. Vision still in favor of BLG, denied by them. Gen.G, darkness surrounds them. And a dark end to the season if they lose out here. They have started to fight back in this series, but they have to fight back for 3 whole games. Paze now getting the red buff, has the Nash's Tooth. Ginsu, Storm Raids are complete. As Chovy looks for a little bit more, he can always dash back with that Soul Unbound. Paze and Elk meeting up in the mid lane, the ace in the hole. Part of the power of Caitlyn. It's their ability to chip out the enemy AD carry at will with that ultimate.
Also do note, Paze going for the hybrid build, so his W's will hurt a little bit more, but it mainly means that you can bust down any tank in a second as long as you're able to get off your full plasma stacks. Doran also going for Randuin's here, specifically to try and keep the pressure on Elk, and I think now the game turns into, can either Doran or Chovy somehow find a flank, versus is BLG's zone control enough to just have a straight front to back?
I mean,
because with the Braum in particular, if you don't get past him somehow, it becomes really hard to play out.
Yeah, there's so many variables, like things that can swing the game. Chovy getting a good ultimate onto Elk, Yagao landing a clutch ultimate to potentially force a summoner or displace someone. Doran is this huge threat that BLG's backline now has to be concerned about, but Elk is someone that if you can't touch him, he's just going to win you the fight. He's nearly finished his 4th item.
I'd actually really like...
Well, I swear I saw him building the Last Whisper, and now it seems that he switched over to the stopwatch. I guess he wants a little bit more defensive. Maybe I missaw, but I swear that he had more damage a second ago, and he's decided, you know what, I actually want a little bit more utility, a little bit more defense. So he does have that stopwatch available. Flash about to come up, all those summoners about to come up, so it looks like we're going to have another crazy fight with Dragon spawning 30 seconds.
Makes sense as well. This game feels like the next team fight is going to decide it all. Whoever picks up the Baron, whoever takes a deciding win in the fight, gets a lot this time around. Pays doesn't have to tank that one. Teleports are coming in. Might have a game-deciding fight here, Medic.
It's just Doran making sure that they can get mid-prio. The Dragon about to spawn in 10 seconds as well. Would only be the 3rd for either of these teams. Take a second, take a breath. Might be the last one you have for a moment. Korean fans on the edge of their seats. They paid for the whole thing, but they only need the edge of it. Is Chovy starting up the Dragon here? He can pull it out. Now seen by BLG. They're looking to collapse in. Doran pushing out mid. They don't know where Delight and Pays are on stepping forward. Elk takes a chunk. The Dragon resets. BLG set up the snap trap line, and Gen.G have to work their way down through the bottom side to make sure they can get in here in time. Delight has the flash, though. They just need vision cleared out by Shun. The Dragon down to 4,000 as Gen.G look to push forward, push BLG off. Infernal change. There's the Nature's Grasp as well. The Dragon secured. It's Shun that gets it. Do we see a fight afterwards? Chovy dashing in, dashing back, and deciding he doesn't want any more of this action for now. BLG can make a beeline to the Baron, but Gen.G didn't invest anything apart from the Maokai ultimate to play around that Dragon. BLG, though, are looking for the big purple worm.
Well, there's a big cooldown. At the very least, I think BLG want to try and force Chovy's TP, force a response here. And in the best case scenario, they pick up the Baron.
The Baron has been begun. There's the TP from Chovy. Delight looking for vision in the pit, puts a control ward in. Doran going forward with a World Ender. And on the back of the wings of the World Ender, Gen.G look to make their final stand. BLG's fate sealed by the combination of the Aatrox and the Yone. And Busan roars into life.
It is the flank that they've been looking for. It feels like the entire series. Finally, Gen.G get the jump on BLG, who tried to bite off a little bit more than they can chew. And at the very least, Gen.G gonna walk away with a Baron here.
Well played fight from Gen.G. Elk didn't even get to use his flash. The collapse was fantastic. And Gen.G are not down and out just yet. The early game looked quite dire. But Doran's Aatrox at Dragon. And look at him again here on the front line, soaking up so much of the damage, but then Chovy finds the flank.
And it's this combo on Yagao that already takes him down to so low, so everything needs to be invested to try and keep this man alive, meaning Chovy is able to absorb so many cooldowns. Pace can move in with impunity. They're not even able to take down Doran.
And even Shun holding everyone in the Cataclysm.
It actually backfired.
It really did, because the fate sealed comes across. And what a moment it was for Gen.G. Perhaps the turning of the tides in the series, at least in this game now, a 5,000 gold lead for them. 4 items on Kai'Sa, 3 items on Chovy. Although his scoreline reads 0-2-5, he has been instrumental in these fights, as has Doran, as has Pays. And everyone from Gen.G that has been struggling has begun to step up.
Much needed wind in the sails of Gen.G. This has been a difficult series for them so far, but now you can see their confidence very clearly at the top. The siege will now begin. Tier 2 going to drop in the bot lane. They've kept Chovy in mid. About to crest level 18 for the Yone. And the traps trying to slow them down from Elk in the mid lane. But these cannon minions doing slow but steady work as BLG do their best to defend.
And now particularly with Pace having finished his death cap as well, his poke actually going to be relevant here. BLG Need to try and dodge those W's. Do see, though, that Gen.G obviously very short range. It's 4 melees and Kai'Sa. So actually reliably taking down these turrets does take a long time. They're really reliant.
Whoa!
So that was what, like a Q from Bin and then Elk getting a crit off?
That was the headshot.
Yeah.
It might have just been a normal headshot. That'd be a lot to sacrifice for a Muffin.
I mean, that's a really big win, right? For BLG, they're able to stifle the Rebel Baron power play. Still big win for Gen.G when it comes to gold, but not breaking open the base means that BLG should be able to contest for some future objectives.
And the fact that BLG got the smite on the Drake means they are the ones that step closer to Soul as well. That will be our next objective in a minute, 20 seconds. The Red Bull Baron power play, 3K for Gen.G. Still powerful, of course, as you say, and getting you towards those full builds on your carries, so impactful. But everything that BLG had before the Baron fight still remains. They still have a Caitlyn with 4 items. They still have the range that they need. They still have your Gao's shockwaves, which have been on point. Gen.G still fighting an uphill battle in the series. This game, though, maybe slowly swinging towards them.
I feel like BLG still have this Doran problem that they have to get around. For the first time in this series, Doran is having a much greater impact than what we've been seeing from Bin. And he's just a juggernaut in the side lane. Look at that, 4 items fully completed. Yagao still chipping away at his HP bar, but I don't know if that type of damage is going to be enough.
It's also really hard to contest in anyone on anyone in the side lane because of Pei's with level 3 ultimate, right?
True,
like
yep.
As soon as the Kai'Sa joins, you're going to be gone in a second. So for BLG, they're just going to have to keep getting shoved in. But as you already pointed out, the benefit is that they don't actually have to care about the upcoming dragon. So we'll come down to the fight for this Baron.
But they could fight it, chronically.
Well, and I've often said, like, why would you? But then it's BLG, and then they do, and then they win. So I'm willing to be proven wrong there. But
I don't think they will. I think you're right.
I don't think in this one we're
I
good.
think you're chilling.
Does mean, we get another full-on 5v5. What I assume will be around Baron.
With the amount of control that Gen.G have, maybe BLG are just saying that they can't fight around Baron, and they'll just kind of have to do a base defense type of play. I don't know, we'll have to wait and see if they can actually gain some control back over the map. You can see they've littered a few wards towards the top side. They do have that top wave pushing, but Doran's already gone to catch that and is pushing that one out. Mid is pushing out in favor of Gen.G as well. What are we going to see completed?
You can see Delight doing what we talked about on doing in game 1 as well, that tempo cycling. Put vision around the dragon down towards the bottom side. Now, while BLG are clearing that, he steps forward into this top side. A couple of pings come out. It's okay, I'll ward this bush by the Razor Beaks. I'll ward just behind the red buff as well. And then BLG have to invest their time coming up here and clearing it out, and that means On now has 1 control ward. They have no other wards, they have no other Oracle's alterations, only the one sitting on Bin, and Gen.G can take their time, step back forward with 3 wards and 4 control wards and regain all of this vision.
Gen.G doing a good job in terms of their control, nice patient play, but in positions like this, when Gen.G have the lead, they are a terrifying team to play against. They're really good at suffocating you out. Level 18 now secured for Pei's. And the Baron, 30 seconds. Quick reset gonna come through from Doran. He's going to get rid of that control ward and look to get a bit more defensive atomization. And BLG, they have no access. So this is what I was saying. It's a really difficult one where I don't know if they can actually fight the Baron because they literally don't have a way to get close to it.
Benefit for them is even if Gen.G do get the Baron, it's still a short-range composition. So BLG can just try and hold on, maybe look for an engage when the inhibitor towers are being pushed, because Gen.G will want to try and push 2 waves, but now we see Shun stepping a little bit too far forward, locked up with just the hook, no ultimates burnt from Gen.G. On takes a chunk as well, Shun down to half HP, Bin stepping forward, Doran level 18 already, able to keep the rest of BLG away, and Delight and Doran teaming up to make sure that BLG are on the back foot as Joby goes forward, on going in, Shun looking for the Cataclysm as well, pops his stopwatch as Doran goes down, the Baron secured. BLG can look for more, how much further can they chase? Not much is the answer. Gen.G sacrificed their top laner, but secure the Baron.
Gonna be a win for Gen.G, but BLG are gonna try and look for a window here. We're pretty late into the game. It's 45 seconds on Doran before he is back up. At the very least, BLG should be able to get themselves some turrets. Maybe even trying to push for an inhibitor here. Bin is going to TP in.
I mean, look at top lane. Chovy's just chosen to split push. He's going to be able to secure that tower. What do BLG do now? I think that this is their best opportunity to actually fight. They have a numbers advantage. An inhibitor will be secured. An exchange of inhibitors when you're down like you are, I think it's kind of the best case scenario for BLG.
I think that's really smart from Chovy, actually. He could have come back and tried to defend, but you probably give up the inhibitor anyway because you're one player short. Delight looking for something. Gen.G just forced them away. The inhibitor for inhibitor trade is good for BLG in this moment, but for the next 2 minutes, they have to deal with those super minions and Gen.G pushing in with the Baron buff.
Yeah, we're getting to a point where the goal difference doesn't really matter anymore. Carries on both sides are pretty much full builds. Of course, Bin is going to be pretty far behind Doran, but as long as this Caitlyn and Orianna stay alive, their damage could be enough alone to be able to win out on the team fights. So Gen.G needs to be really careful here. While their position overall is good, the fact that they traded inhibitors, the fact that they lost Doran, it may very well come down to a final Dragon fight as Gen.G move back out onto the map and start to reclaim that vision control, trying to leverage the 1 minute and a bit of Baron that they have left.
Want to pay attention to the defensive itemization. So we have 2 GAs for Gen.G, both on Chovy and Pays, allowing them to play very aggressive. Shun is looking for an angle here. QSS for Chovy as well. On the other side, Elk and Shun both sitting on a GA as well. Doesn't look like the flank worked out though.
Mikhail's available for On as well. Some CC does land on one of his carries. The push in from Chovy in a side lane. Obviously, Yone very strong in this position, but also he has the Baron and Doran does not. So Doran joins up with the team and allows you to apply Baron buff to 2 waves without losing any of the potency.
And BLG, they're not giving any quarter, not letting Gen.G just get these turrets for free. Looks like the only thing Gen.G is going to be getting outside of the inhibitor that Chovy got towards top is a free Cloud Soul. They are zooming. That's going to be 4 Drakes. But I don't know much. I don't know how much the speed is going to help with how much this game has slowed down.
I think it might help you with the flanks and with the Maokai. Maokai pops a Nature's Grasp, the World Ender comes out, gives you access to that backline a little bit quicker. We'll see how impactful it is as Peanut starts it up. A 7,000 gold lead for Gen.G. They are in the driver's seat of this game, but as you said, BLG haven't been given much quarter back. And it might just be a soul into a Baron, into an Elder. It's always a possibility when you're struggling to siege this much.
That seed of concern is slowly growing for Gen.G. Everything looks good, but a single fight could determine the whole game.
That's a Nature's Grasp. That's hit onto the back.
It's a big ultimate committed, but
because you lock them up here, you then have the priority path into the mid lane. The question is, how far do you want to step up? The answer is not too far as Chovy looks for a little bit more. He's able to dash away.
Like that, I guess they're trying to play the game of attrition. Those towers are very low, but they can't quite secure them. I think against this composition, you kind of, well, in my head I was thinking maybe you want to play through 3 lanes, try and divide BLG up more, and then when you have a single member up top, then you collapse from both bot and top into mid, use your numbers to then siege the tower. But when they have super minions top, that's kind of already doing the same job, and it's still not enough. The towers are getting very, very low, but I think you're right, Medic. I think we're looking at another Baron, which just gives BLG another opportunity. And that, again, that small seed, for all intent and purposes, Gen.G, this should be their game. But that goal difference, you look at the items, it really doesn't matter, you know?
He's switching over to the Sork Boots here as well. Knows that his job is more poke than attack speed in these next fights. Will, of course, do a lot of work, that extra penetration helping him out. But, you've been in this position before, Chronicle. You've watched Gen.G in long games a few times in the
Generally,
LCK.
they do well, but they also haven't beaten BLG all year. So, I don't know. Generally, Gen.G, I think moments like in that mid lane, they would be a little bit quicker on the draw with what we've seen from them when they're in a position like this. I think you can sense the pressure that these players are under as the first seed of the LCK, right? They are down 0-2. Even if they win here, which BLG are making them work very hard for, that in of itself isn't enough, right? You're still going to be...
The extra mental pressure of forcing them to go through this. Yeah, it's a very valid point.
And huge credit to BLG. They made G2 sweat in game 2, even though G2 were able to pick up that win. Here they are making Gen.G sweat, even though Gen.G have had the lead for the last 15 minutes or so. Part of it, obviously, is compositions. We talked about the range disadvantage for Gen.G, their struggle at getting towards those inhibitor towers, but you have to give credit to the LPL 2 seed. So consistently able to find
Here we go.
wins as on. Steps forward, Infernal Chains will drag him back. Bin acting as a frontline. Chovy looking for the flank position. Shun tries to dive onto him. The Mortal Steel gets the knock-up. Doran going forward as Bin with the Dominus is locked up. Stopwatch, is it enough to buy him enough time to get out? It is for now, but Pace dives forward and Bin dies, and Gen.G have found the fight they were looking for. They turn their eyes back to the Baron.
Gen.G finally find something. A pick onto Bin is absolutely massive. BLG are making the call. We'll abandon the Baron. It does not matter. We're going to try and defend for as long as we can. Gen.G, they needed to break this game open somehow, and finding that pick on the Bin was exactly the play they were looking for.
And now then G gonna come in with a fresh back, trying to get the most out of this Red Bull Baron power play. Pace has straight up sold his boots. He is exclusively a W machine now. We'll see if that's gonna be enough.
Likes to feel the dirt between his toes.
Sure.
You know, do that on a beach, you know.
Oh, I enjoy it. Yeah.
Chovy at full build as well. We'll see if he decides to sell his shoes as the Mercurial Scimitar. Doran's still a little bit short, just has the Aegis of the Legion. On the other side, Elk sold his boots as well. Both the AD carries going bare feet.
Yeah, we're full late game.
And you're actually starting to see, Vedi, as you were mentioning, Gen.G trying to play for all 3 lanes, identifying that it is really hard to push through this BLG if you're only playing 2 lanes to the wave clear of Elk and Yagao, being something that even with Baron, they don't seem to be able to really chew through.
Well, I think with the Baron, what you can do, though, is Chovy can sit top and then use the Baron-empowered minions to actually start threatening the Nexus towers, right? Assuming he can take that inhibitor down, which then should draw than just a single member from BLG away. And there you go, they've unlocked the bottom tower. As long as they can play away from the Caitlyn, then Gen.G can slowly chip away. You can see now BLG being divided. The Yone in the top lane.
Chovy the target for now, but the cannon minions doing enough work on those inhibitors. Inhibitor in the bottom lane will fall. Pays locked up, flashes away. The Cataclysm will get his GA, but is it enough here for BLG? Doran coming in from the flanks as Pays is brought back to life. The flag and the drag from Shun is just found a wanting, but the engage continues from BLG. Gen.G disengaged perfectly to keep their AD carry alive.
And that's a really big moment. That is Flash and GA gone here for Pace. He sells it immediately. We'll see what he picks up. Looks like he's going back to boots. Chovy, not done though, wants to pick up this inhibitor. And Gen.G, they get away with 2 inhibs and the life of
we're gonna see it. I was just about to say, I looked back at the replay. Look at this. Oh my god, that's the headshot from Caitlyn. And that was insane damage from Elk.
And then the last part of On's ultimate actually clips him, gets the knock up, and it's enough as Chovy.
He's gonna kill him.
Falling low, has the shield, but it's just enough to keep him alive. BLG were pushing forward to try and fight for the Elder, but Gen.G are looking for the Nexus. Shun already called out as they look for more. He's trying to get away, but there's 1, there's 2, there's more for Gen.G. Pays diving forward, the killer instinct living up to its name as Shun tries to get away and will escape to live another day, but the Nexus, the target in the eyes of Gen.G as they are looking to fight back in this series. A reverse sweep is what it will take, and Gen.G have taken the first step.
The first 6 levels, and a bot lane that needs to get at, so even more so than ever, it's going to come down to the jungle, I think. Peanut and Shun, who gets to have the biggest impact here?
The crowd woken from their slumber by Gen.G picking up a game in this series. I will also say, we've seen a lot of tech of the Akali-Nico matchup. If you are Akali and you hit Nico with an ability, if Nico is a minion when you hit her, you don't get your passive. You don't get to run in and out and get the extra auto attack. She's classed as a minion. APA brought that up on his Twitter, and we have all been amazed by it ever since. Alongside that,
I played a lot of Akali, and I think I've played it into Nico as well a bunch of times, and I've never once experienced that interaction. That's pretty funny.
The other side of the interaction is, if Nico hits you with a spell and she's a minion, you don't get your Doran shield or your second wind regeneration because she's a minion. And so it can be a very tricky lane for the Akali to play.
Couple of notes here. We already see the level 1 being very nicely utilized by BLG as they go in really aggressively here, knowing that Gen.G doesn't really get to contest. So that means Peanut's going to be set behind very early on. We also have Doran, who didn't go for Ignite. We see that mostly into the Cassante. Bin also not opting into the Aftershock, which is common tech you see into the Rumble, so you can at least win the short trades. Not going to be the case here. And with Doran going for TP, his impact on the map should be greater. This early vertical jungling, though, I think exactly what BLG want, right? Try and keep this Kalista lane down right from the get-go.
Seen this Peanut pathing a few times through this series. We'll see if he realizes, well, he does know he needs to vertically jungle because there was that ward on the Gromp. Could, of course, look up towards the top lane, try and put Bin behind. If a Rumble can start taking over, can be dominant. For the moment, though, just on his Krugs, clearing out that top side. Chobi with a ward as well to spot Shun if he does decide to path across towards his blue. Looks like instead he's just going to play around that bottom lane.
Yeah, this matchup is really fun if your name is Akali. She'll do what she can with Doran Shield and Fleet Footwork. But same for the bot lane, 2 versus 2.
He's already down to 250 HP. Elk with the slow as well. Remember, that slows Kalista's attack speed, not only her movement speed in the lane. That's why Ash so good into the Kalista.
Oh, look at the pivot here. Peanut realizes that his bot lane is at the risk of getting dove. Decides the better of it. Yeah, Shun adjusting his pathing. I think he got spotted on the ward as well.
He canceled his back. Peanut is going to go for the blue.
So Peanut is on a ward. I think Shun, as you say, was spotted on the ward by the Razor Beaks. But
Doesn't
Pays
matter.
and Delight, you need one more minion. You need something, get that level 2. There we go, Delight has it, so does Pays. Shun looking for this. A lot of minions going to be lost to the tower. TP in from Doran, but he can be stopped by Bin, and he is, in fact, in the top lane. Delight looked for the engage, flash away from On. Shun can go in now. EQ, flash away from Pays. The flash doesn't follow, but Pays is dead. The flip back onto On is not enough. On not tanking the tower. Abyssal Voyage forward. The dodge from Delight. He still has flash. Elk now tanking the tower. Shun and On haven't hit Delight. And so in the end, it's a play, it's a kill, it's everything BLG wanted.
Still going to be a really big win, and it's On and Elk that secure the initial advantage. Get Pays low, and it's then the pathing from Shun, pivoting away from trying to maybe punish Peanut in the pure 1v1, instead going towards that bot lane, and now you have Elk, who is sitting at a 15 CS lead and a kill into a Kalista.
It's a bit of a disaster in the bot lane, 2 versus 2. The split map from the jungle, the slow stacking wave into the dive, just something we've seen from Shun time and time again, and something that they execute to perfection. Medic, you highlighted it. The TP gets interrupted here from the Rumble. Great positioning from Doran initially to be like, okay, I'm here to assist, and then the TP comes through and BLG is like, all right, that's fine. Bin interrupts it. The comm is very clear. And then they go, oh, that wave is still big enough that we can commit to the dive. Still only level 2 for the bot lane of Gen.G, and they make it look easy.
It says a lot as well as to the advantage that was already accrued in terms of health, that the flash flag and drag doesn't even hit, and it's still enough to take down the Kalista there. He's really going to suffer. We'll see if Peanut, once he hits level 6, is able to get anything going towards that bot side, but right now, BLG have him right where they want him. Peanut looking for a lane gank here.
Shun's coming down as well. This wave pushing away from Pays and Delight means that Shun can just push forward himself. Elk trying to open up with the Rangers. Focus, the engage onto Elk. He still has flash heal, but he doesn't have time to get out. Delight gets the kill, not what you would have wanted for Gen.G. Meanwhile, Bin trading with Doran in the top lane, and I know who's winning this one. Cassante doing Cassante things as the double flash has been used, but there's no dodge for the Q3 unless Doran puts on his dancing shoes. Can't find them in time. Bin with a solo.
Look at the frustration on the fans' face. Elation as they get a big kill in the bot lane, and then disappointment as Bin wins out in the 1v1 top. The gold still remains even. Gen.G will secure the first dragon of game 4. They're definitely not down and out just yet, but they needed to make something happen. But Jun now looking for something.
Down looking for the flank as well. No flash on Pays, none on Delight either, or even Peanut. Pays pops the cleanse, but he's been locked up, and he'll be shut out of the battle. Shun takes the kill. Delight next on the menu. He's ready for a tongue lashing. Yagao flashes, but can't get in range to find the Pot Blossom. Delight escapes.
And it's the aggression of BLG again. As Gen.G think, hey, after that bot lane play, we can go for Dragon, right? No, BLG is not going to let you have that one without contesting. And even though they're not able to get the light as well, still a really big win. As the Kalista now 0-2, should be able to pick up most of this wave, but it is the contest here with the priority roam from Yagao, plus his health advantage being really big.
I mean, Pays just gets completely isolated, doesn't he, as well? The fact that Peanut's kind of zoned away thanks to On using that Tahm Kench to just get in between the jungle and Delight means that there's nothing that the AD carry can do. And Gen.G ended up losing a kill in exchange for the Dragon. 1k gold now, the advantage for BLG. Not the end of the world completely for Gen.G. And I want to just draw your attention to the mid lane. We talked about how this can be a very difficult laning phase, but Chovy's doing a fantastic job finding really good trading windows and building a pretty healthy CS lead. And we talked about late game team fights in a side lane. The moment that that E is used on Nico, it's very easy for Akali to do whatever she wants in the 1v1. And then this Cassante is going to be a nullifier, but I don't think anyone's going to be able to stop this Akali as we get later into the game.
Yeah, you're really looking at On just trying his best to eat up whoever Chovy is going to target, but we've seen Chovy be able to, even in the team fights, be able to output a lot of AoE damage. The big thing here for me as well is that with how the game early has gone, the Kalista plan has not been going very well, and from this point on, it is really hard to come back outside of, like, if you get completely untouched in an early skirmish. So it will come down, I think, to Chovy specifically. And this is a player who I think has maybe the worst reputation when it comes to international performances on this team, which is crazy to me. And I do think after this tournament, it'll be more Doran and Peanut focused, as we do have a possible fight here.
You can see the move from Pays and Delight first from the bottom lane. They pushed in that wave. They're on their way up here to join. BLG posturing around the Rift Herald. Bin and Shun up towards that top bush. It looks like they might give up the Herald, but then look for something afterwards. The Scryer's Bloom will spot them out. Pings come out. And Gen.G using the priority they have in the mid lane to make sure that Peanut can secure the second neutral objective for the LCK first seed.
So, I mean, this is, in terms of objectives, I would say the best we've seen from Gen.G so far this series.
Yeah.
First Dragon and first Herald. These are things that you should be getting when you're playing with a Kalista. You usually want to use her first item to look for fights, and I'm looking for a fight right now.
Season desist from Peanut could come in if he can get there in time. They're just trying to lock up Elf for as long as possible. Devour now used. He is level 6. The cease and desist. Will they wait in time? Peanut can't get in range. His flash about 5 seconds away.
Oh, a crucial level up there. If On doesn't hit 6 off of that wave, Elk is 100% dead. But instead, they get the ultimate, they get the ignite, and Elk gets out.
And Delight also not ticking over to 6. If he'd had the Magnet Storm, that might have been enough to keep the Tahm Kench, if nothing else, to burn the flash from the Tahm. But it wasn't quite enough. Props to Pays and Delight, though. They saw a window, they went for it. 0-2 on the Kalista, but they're demonstrating how powerful she can still be in the early game.
Especially when you have some CC that you can just chuck into the mix in the form of Delight. Pistol voyage forward here by On as they try and clear out vision. Dragon up in a minute's time, 56 seconds on the Infernal Drake. And Gen.G will want to fight around it. Didn't get too many sums out of BLG, only the heal burnt for Elk, his flash coming back off cooldown. On, I believe, will have the Devour back up for this next fight. But still, cease and desist available for Peanut. Delight now ticking over to 6. All summoners available for Pays. And Chovy doing Chovy things, 108 CS. Building up towards that first item. Gen.G will be looking at this Drake with bated breath. Can they find it? Chovy pushing forward.
And it's kind of a must-win for them here with the Kalista composition. Chovy
Able to dodge away, seen by Oracle's alteration, but only takes a bit of chip damage. Rift Herald still available to Gen.G, but with the push in the mid lane, Yagao and Shun can now help On and Elk gain vision control.
And it looks like Gen.G not looking to actually contest this early Drake. Chovy!
Pop Blossom just short. He dashes back onto Yagao, but Bin was there, so Chovy has to flash. Respects it.
Actually, I think Yagao would have hit the root if he didn't flash there. So then Bin could have changed his CC. Would have been enough. That should still be the Drake going over. Doran picks at least up a little bit of gold, but I think BLG is going to take that trade anytime as they're teleporting in.
5 second on Fate's call. Delight and Doran looking for something here. The equalizer could come down, but just wasted in the end.
What is the game plan there for Gen.G? The Dragon's already dead. BLG are obviously disengaging. I guess the logic is that they want to zone Elk and On away from the bot lane so
they
they
also
can
have
funnel
Herald.
plates. They
So
do
they
have the Herald, all right.
TP. Bin realizes the plan.
Now they have to
But he's
dive.
alone.
But Shun is on his way. Like, can you kill Bin at this point?
We're about to find out,
only a
Medic.
Divine Sundra. The equalizer down onto Bin. Doesn't take too much damage. The Rift Herald charges in. The Magnet Storm there as well as the Enchanted Crystal Arrow hits underneath the tower. Bin dashing away. Surviving Fate's Core used as well. But Peanut, with excessive force, finds the kill. Does mean the tower doesn't fall. Pays will be able to get 3 plates out of it. Counter TP used up towards the top side as Chovy answers Yagao's push. Elk is pushing in mid.
Excessive force indeed. That is a lot invested, and it almost goes wrong, but they will be able to pick up the kill and also put a lot of gold into Pays. This player had been put down by the early attention from Shun, plus the 2v2 from Elk and On. And Gen.G finally able to get themselves to a gold lead here.
So I was skeptical of the TP, but credit to Gen.G, they were able to make it work very nicely. Overall, yes, they did lose the Dragon, but the amount of gold that they were able to invest in the bot side of the map, it seemed like a promising idea, the TP from Bin, but I think he immediately realized after the TP, hang on, I've completely isolated myself from the rest of the team. I think it was Shun that tried to make his way down bot lane to offer that assistance, but it was too late. And Gen.G committed 4 members to find that kill. So 3-2 is the kill score. Gen.G now have a 1k gold lead. And this early game overall is very even, but I think that when you kind of look at the context of the series, Gen.G's confidence is at an all-time high. You feel as though the momentum from BLG has just slowed down, considering for the first 3 games, they were just like, it felt like that they were unstoppable in terms of their early game fighting.
And a lot of that comes through allowing Chovy freedom on the map, as he will have later on, but also allowing Pays and Delight a bit more freedom in the bottom lane. This game has been a bit more tricky.
Look, Steve's still there. He's doing his best.
Yeah.
I think he might get taken down here, but hopefully he hangs out around for a little bit longer. Hey, still good to go. So what I want to highlight as well is that Chovy hasn't actually been involved in any of these plays. And he is at a 160 CS at 14 minutes as a Kali. Once he actually starts joining these skirmishes, we'll see how BLG finds a way to deal with it. I do think that the BLG wombo combo between Cassante, J4, and Nico is something that we haven't really seen them get an opportunity to use.
True.
And it's something that Gen.G really needs to respect.
There's something about Akali in this comp that just looks really good to me. I feel
It's a
like
gut
that,
feeling.
Well,
I think it's the nameplate just above it, to be honest.
Helps.
I mean, I'm a big Akali fan. I play her a lot, and there are like definitely good games and bad games depending on the comp that you're playing against. And you're definitely right. In the hands of Chovy, I just look at what you're playing into, the carries, and like aside from Tom Kench, we might see it right here.
Just looking for Elk, maybe trying to get the Devour down. Does have the flash, doesn't have the flash, in fact, to get away. Enchanted Crystal Arrow into the Magnet Storm. Chovy extending forward, but the Devour still available for BLG here as Pays tries to get on towards the back line, but Delight now pulled out with the Fate's Call. Abyssal Voyage forward by On. Chovy walking away, wounded. On with the flash forward. And Shun coming in from the side. Chovy cataclysmed and brought to his knees, and BLG strike.
I mean, that may be the biggest caster curse I've done in recent history. Hang on.
They thought it was On, it was Yagao, and he has the time to flash and escape. The Drake's still 50 seconds from spawning. We're fighting over a blue buff.
The Akali will be back alive and has TP soon.
Yeah, we'll see though, because that was a really heavy investment. If they get Drake, I think BLG call worth, but otherwise, like that is what, 4 flashes?
True.
In the end, just to kill Chovy, who didn't have his flash available, does end up going down. But I think it depends on who actually gets the setup for this Dragon here. Ocean Drake, particularly with how much sideline action I expect, going to be really big here.
And Yagao didn't complete the Rocket Bell. He went back to base, didn't have enough money, and now the TP has been used. So I thought that Chovy was actually going to look for a kill here, but decides, you know what, it's not worth it. He looks at the position on the map and realizes this isn't a good fight for me. Good ultimate from Elk. And then Delight is kind of forced to fight here to keep his mid laner alive. Pays gets zoned out of the fight, nice, thanks to a nice route from Yagao. And then Gen.G are immediately forced to retreat. Jun, you're going to see him land a good ultimate here, and he's going to get that shutdown as well. So 400 gold goes over to Shun. And with the Herald being secured, perhaps that's an opportunity for Gen.G to cross-map and trade for the Dragon.
Would be their second of the game. Their Dragon stalling a little bit after managing to pick up the first one. But they do still have 1,000 gold lead here, even if the kill scoreline is a little bit misleading. A lead for Peanut and for Chovy. Not as great as they would like this portion of the game.
And this is something that Gen.G was known for in the LCK as well, being able to get favorable macro trades. We'll see if they get the Dragon though, particularly with the opportunity for BLG to just overload and just throw down a Herald, try and push down. They can do that. They can also look for a contest.
BLG have given up the ghost on this one. You can see Yagao walking forward. Nah, I'm just going to clear the wave.
Not feeling it.
Just taking the red as well. And I think a lot of it comes down to what you mentioned, Chronicler, which is they invested a lot. Yes, you have Pop Blossom. Yes, you have the Cataclysm, but you don't have Flash on any of your bot side of the map or your jungle or your mid. So if you look for more, Gen.G can collapse on you. Magnet Storm back up. There's a Rift Herald in the mid lane as only Pays is there to try and dissuade BLG, so it will be at least 1 tower. Maybe 2 if they wanted to go in with the charge, but it looks like instead they will retreat and work their way towards the top side. No vision here for Gen.G. It's control war deep behind at BLG's blue. Can Chovy survive what could be a 5-man dive? Yagao coming in as a clone of Elk, and Chovy will realize as the arrow hits, he might be just caught out. He tries to flash, but he can't get away in time. Knocked back with the Intofos, and Chovy stayed a little bit too long. Didn't respect the arrow from Elk.
Nice snipe comes through from Elk. Now BLG with, I was going to say 5 members strong, but Bin choosing to reset means that they can continue this siege onto the top tier 2.
And that is also Chovy investing his flash, right? In the previous play, didn't have it. So it's going to be a very favorable trade here for BLG. Gen.G is able to answer. So it's not the end of the world, but still a big win. They might be looking to try and catch some stragglers here. Chovy does have TP, but doesn't look like anyone is going to be available, and it'll just be Gen.G trying to make the best of a rough situation.
Peanut spotted an award as he jumped into the Baron pit. I mean, I think Shun maybe would have stayed around, locked up for a second, and another, but even with the Ignite, Shun able just to Gore Drinker his way away as Delight knocked back over the wall there by Peanut. Not sure that was the intention, but it was the conclusion of the play.
Hang on now. I don't love this invade from Gen.G. Now just taunting.
Oh, okay. Peanut tried to smite as the patience ran out.
Yep.
And Shun got the smite on the way back.
That's unfortunate for Peanut. It was a little scary because of the numbers the BLG had, but the Gen.G are able to get away. Gold, pretty much dead even now. It's kind of been a back and forth of a 1k shift from either side, and oh, he stuck his way. Yagao is so suspicious, though. He doesn't like it.
Chovy looking for it. Yagao still has flash. Chovy able to dash away.
And something I want to highlight is the fact that so many of these players from BLG have been set up by Elk. And we've seen a lot of Elk like teamfight carry in this tournament. There's Tristana, there's Jinx, right? But Ashe is, I think, such a different champion from a very stylistic point of view, where so much more of the value comes from the ultimate, plus your ability to consistently hit arrows. And thus far, I feel like Elk has done a really good job of consistently finding these arrows towards the side lane, setting up and leading to the kill score lead for BLG.
As the tempo and the pace of the game slows down a little bit, I have to feel we're just waiting for the next Drake to spawn. Would be 3rd of the game for Gen.G. They'd wish that was 4. Obviously BLG getting that earlier Drake slowed down their game a lot. For BLG, still only 1 game away from making it to quarterfinals, from joining Weibo. First time we've ever had 4 LPL teams in the quarterfinals, and maybe, if things go the way the top side of the bracket could be going, maybe the first time we've ever had all LPL semifinals as well. I think people will look at that bottom side of the bracket and think, well, JDG probably, and then T1 LNG, a very close series. The era of LPL dominance returning after a brief delay last year at Worlds. Peanut stepping forward here as the engage comes in from BLG, and Peanut's locked up. Yagao pops Blossoms as Gen.G starts to go pop. The equalizer coming down, and Shun now on the wrong side of the rip, but he can just EQ back to join his team. Pays rooted with the tango bars as Chovy looks for the backline, but the Devour saved for this eventuality. He has to dash away, and a perfect execution from BLG.
And that's vintage Peanut. Just steps forward, gets caught, and now BLG making their way over to the Baron.
No smite for Gen.G, but a fight perhaps begins to materialize. No tangle barbs, remember, for BLG, only the Cataclysm. And the Devour put on. Do you go in with the Magnus Storm? You do. Delight tries to dive in. Doran trying to burn BLG alive as On is taken out, but the re-engage from BLG. Perfection executed once again. Doran and Chovy in a 2v4 fighting for the lives of Gen.G, for the lives of the LCK, but can't find it. BLG get the Baron.
A fantastic play from BLG. That pick from Peanut is exactly the window that they were looking for. Without a second of hesitation, they start the Baron, and they find themselves even more kills.
And Peanut walks up here, but BLG is so ready. It's again the arrow, the setup is there, and then the chase down comes through. Gen.G have to invest so much. The Fate's Call, the ultimate, and the summoner, or the cleanse rather, from Pays, meaning that even with Bin coming in, he isn't even necessary. He's just there to secure the Baron.
It's also just a disjointed engage. The Akali ultimate is now unavailable. Like, Delight goes in, but what do they really have to reliably follow up? There's the engage. Pays does what he can. Doran is standing on the edge. Chovy drops, what, a bit of damage onto the support, onto the Tahm Kench. It's an easy turn for BLG, and they'll get a Dragon to boot.
And now Gen.G staring down a very long walk back into this game. 2 items complete on Pays, Ginsu's and the Blade of the Ruined King. Yagao here, cease and desist coming out as they try and lock him up. Doesn't have the flash, but has the pop. Blossom, Chovy dashes in, dashes back, dashes out, and dashes forward for the kill. Peanut takes it.
Can they get out though? Looks like they will be. BLG don't want to overinvest towards the top side of the map. On the cross map, Bin is able to still push, but the Red Bull Baron power play is going to lose a lot of momentum from that pick.
The TP now coming through. But as you rightly said, it will slow BLG down a little bit, but I don't know if it's enough. The wave clear. Oh!
Magnus Storm flash, engage the equalizer down as well as the TP. Gen.G have pulled the trigger, and they're looking to burst out Elk. Chovy dashing around, and Elk will fall. It's hunting season for Gen.G, and they found what could be the biggest kill of them all. They found a way back into Game 4.
I thought that it wouldn't be enough, but Gen.G just shut me right up. A beautiful engage in mid lane, catches BLG completely off guard, and just like that, as you said, Medic, Gen.G have found a lifeline.
Might be able to get the kill on Bin here as well, and he's going to be disjointed, uses the mobility.
Oh god, K'Sante things.
Yeah, Bin just doing Bin things here on the K'Sante, and Tofo's come out.
Shields!
The Slingshot plate is not enough. The shield's not enough to keep K'Sante alive. Gen.G get those death timers on a bit of an uneven keel. Still only 1,000 gold in it, but look at this. The light just decides to go in.
And there is a reason why Gen.G fans were saying, why is the light not on engage? It's moments like this. He was able to do it on Breon, he's able to do it on Gen.G. And it is a really important moment, because as you're saying, with the Red Bull Baron power play in favor of BLG, they were pushing. It starts with the pick towards the mid, or towards the top side of the map on Yagao, but then they're able to actually take down, and you can see the tense coaching room there for Gen.G. They know what's at stake here.
I mean, Peanut completely redeemed the misplay that he made earlier, nullified the Baron, and now both objectives, 2.5 minutes until they're back out onto the map. More time for both sides to farm, more time for items to be completed. But again, I draw my eyes towards the mid lane, and I look at these items now being finished for Chovy. Level 15, soon to hit level 16. Elk.
Equalizer. Elk has flash heal. He tries to get across the wall and gets into the Razorbeak pit, but On is deleted. Chovy looking for more. He's going to dive forward into 4 members. He has a stopwatch, but does he have enough time? The Pop Blossom comes out. Chovy survives as he gets off towards the top side, and there is Yagao. And Busan roars into life once again.
And there is no objective up, but Gen.G, it feels different in this 4th game. They should be able to, at the very least, get themselves a turret here. And again, Yagao gets caught out on, dies saving Elk.
The momentum has clearly swung. What felt like a doomed game state for Gen.G after losing that Baron, after losing another Dragon. It's just everything for Gen.G. Look at this play. Elk isolated. They cannot protect him. He's forced to flash over the wall. The arrow goes wide. The support is dead. And then look, Shun gets close to Elk, which means that Chovy sees that as a window. The stopwatch is good, and then he flashes away from Yagao, who's then left isolated by his team. Now Chovy in danger.
By himself down in the bottom lane, but he's going to get out the hymnal, take a pew. BLG Church is in session, but the Abyssal Voyage trying to turn it back around. Chovy able to dash away. Pina trying to get across the wall, and he dodges from the Intofu's not quite enough range, but Bin, the Dragon up in a minute, enough time for Gen.G to reset. Chovy almost scored out.
And there's that threat from BLG. A single misstep, and Gen.G can still get taken down in this game. Peanut forced to flash there, won't have that available. Will be able to get onto the back line just as easy. Doran didn't have teleport that crucially. Will be off cooldown just about now, meaning that if BLG, anything they would have gotten there could have set up for this Drake. It is just soul points for either team, so wouldn't be surprised if with the lack of control, BLG is going to say thank you to that one. Baron also up, so you might even see them try and play towards that if Gen.G misstep.
I mean, so much of the credit needs to be given to Delight. You guys were talking about him earlier. We're going to be keeping our eyes on him as the game continues. He made that mid-lane game-saving play. Let's see if he can find another. Shun looking for a fight.
Look away,
Delight!
And Delight goes in. On trying to keep Elk alive. The Pop Blossom comes out just in time from Yagao. But Yagao is gone. And BLG might be too. Elk trying to do everything he can. But Elk has been mounted on a wall. Delight survives. BLG die. And Gen.G do it all. They have fought back from the absolute brink in game 2. And it looks like we're going all the way.
It's a clean ace for Gen.G. The Nexus is in their eyes, and they're looking to...
Never mind. Out of the eyes.
Out of the eyes. Blinds put them back on. The Baron is in their eyes. What a team fight and what an engage, just as we were talking about him. Delight again. What an incredible engage. He finds 3 members, and how does Elk even get to play the game?
He doesn't. And to me, this Rumble, I don't even feel like Doran is necessarily having a pop-off game, but the Rumble has just made it so hard consistently. But as you already pointed out, the big enabler of all of this, it's Delight. This man, I think his Enchanter play is fine, but these moments are what is winning Gen.G this game. And you see, even with Yagao trying to go for the ultimate, Gen.G plays very respectful. Bin actually, with some heroics, made that look close. Gets multiple multi-man knockups, but it just isn't enough because Paze and Chovy are unmatched.
Yeah, I mean, it's the combination of Rumble forcing all of those things out early. Means that the Akali then has free reign on the backline, and there's nothing to stop Chovy from just assassinating Elk. And then while all of that is happening, Paze is untouched. So he's just freely dishing out this damage. 5 kills for him now. 2-1-11 for Doran. A 6k goal lead for Gen.G. They're looking to bring us to a game 5. The momentum has very clearly swung in their favor, and they will not slow down. They want to return to the World Semi-Final. They lost to DRX at the semis last year. They lost to BLG at MSI. And they want to prove that they can make the reverse sweep a reality.
Just the inhibitor line between them and the biggest prize of all, that Nexus.
The arrow?
The arrow onto Doran, but Delight is in the way. If BLG overstep, there's the equalizer already. Doran getting chunked out, and Doran is donezo. Chovy pushing in the mid lane. Delight can re-engage. No flash for him to disengage this, though. Shun misses the flag and drag across the wall. The stun from Delight. Chovy starting to collapse. There's the base call out. BLG could chase, but they decide instead to make sure their mid lane is still healthy. The inhibitor tower already down. TP now from Bin as he tries to make sure Chovy can't get another tower out of this push.
Really big window there for BLG. They're able, not window, just want to clarify.
I mean,
they're
both
able,
of them.
It actually is both.
Yep.
They're also able to take a lot of the wind out of the sails of these Baron power plays, which it has been something where Gen.G actually have been super consistent domestically. Like, when they get Baron, it's done, right? So picks like this on Doran, even with a stopwatch available, I might add, are really, really big and mean. The BLG, even though they are down, they are not out. That wombo combo still exists. It just is more about, can they regain map control? Because I feel like that's been really kind of the advantage that Gen.G have had ever since that catch that they got here on mid. They just haven't really ever been able to get like Yagao with a big flank into the enemy backline.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these fights have actually been started by Gen.G.
Yeah.
Finding these opportunities, Delight being the initiator, and in an ideal world, you as BLG want to be the one starting off the fights. But Gen.G, oh, Yagao. No, that's not the real
fake
one.
You can always tell if it's not the real one because it's just doing a helicopter motion somewhere randomly. It's like, do you really be doing that? I want to give credit to Delight as well for his itemization here. Abyssal Mask, second item, really strong when you have a Rumble and a Kali and when you're diving into the backline. That magic resist shred, so powerful in situations like this. We may see the game slow down for the next couple of minutes because it's 2.5 on Soul for Gen.G and 2.5 on Baron for BLG or Gen.G, whoever decides to fight around it.
We're also starting at the point where there's a lot of defensive itemization available, right? So Bin was able to pick up a Renduance, already had a Stoneblade second. Then we have GA for both junglers here, and then double stopwatch on the side of Yagao and Elk, and then Doran and Chovy also with Zhonya's in the pocket. Pace just sporting a regular one. And for BLG, the item breakpoints could have been worse. I think only mid lane is where it really feels backbreaking. Outside of that, they have been able to stay on pretty decent item parity.
Well, the tension mounts. The darkness is full of terrors.
Ocean again. It's so spooky.
I would say the Gen.G are the slightly spookier thing here, but that's fair. BLG have the...
Ocean's really deep, man. We haven't explored like 90% of that.
Ocean
Could be anything down
it's
there.
a dangerous place. BLG will actually make their way up towards the Baron side of the map. A minute and a half until that spawns. I guess with their mid-prio, they can kind of take as much space as they want. The wave clear... I mean, the wave clear in Siege from Gen.G isn't the strongest. They really need another great fight to end this game.
See the Scuttlecrab taken by BLG. Gives them that little bit more vision. They know if they place any wards, they're not really going to stick. Shun here is on a ward. Chovy and Peanut were eyeing him up, but decide that tasty morsel can be left for later. Don't really want to go in where they're not quite sure where the rest of BLG are waiting.
Yeah, it's also between like Flag and Drag, Flash, GA. By the time you actually kill Shun, reinforcement surely will have arrived. One thing that is a tough cookie to crack for BLG though is like who actually deals with Chovy. I think right now, Bin's still able to match him relatively well, but post-Void stuff is going to get harder as well. GA now done for Pace. We'll have that available in the upcoming fight. And feels like the last stand here for BLG to ward off a Silver Scrapes.
One last time.
Delight is the player to watch for Gen.G. And if Yagao can find a flank, that'll be the difference maker. Chronicler was talking about it earlier.
Oh, here we go! He's in! The Devour immediately, Delight tanky enough, but Chovy is being dealt with by BLG right now. The Pop Blossom doesn't find it. Pace flashes the wall and immediately engages. Chovy's on a rampage now, and Gen.G are just grinding up BLG. A double for Chovy. They wipe them away. The TP towards mid. Gen.G are done with this game.
He's 17 and he's flashing over a wall with his back against the wall. Pace still find the play. Bindo.
You know, relentless force. And even more aggression from Gen.G. Delight and Pace, after being put behind in the early game, are putting on a clinic here at 35 minutes. It's game 5 of a reverse sweep on the cards for Gen.G. And Busan and all Korea are behind them.
It's our last game of the series, gentlemen. I hope we have a banger.
Delight paths up towards the top lane early on, places a ward to spot. If Bin was doing anything a little bit sneaky, he can reset, go down towards the bottom side. Peanut once again starting on his top side camps. He's now using the ball to spot out any late invades that could come out from Gen.G. And I think it's going to be all quiet on the western front between these two teams early on.
Yeah, I was actually expecting BLG, because they did in the last game as well, right? To really try and push. Maybe they'll go for a late invade. Shun is going to get intel as to what Peanut's pathing is going to be. Peanut this time around did not go for a sweeper, so we'll just have to accept that he is going to get tracked. And BLG, no invade in this crucial game number 5.
You know, when your tournament life is on the line, the random thought that I had is, imagine you're Shun and you just played 5 games of Jarvan. What a team player. He's obviously had an incredible series on the champion. I think that he has really been the reason why BLG have found so much success in the early game. I was optimistic that this series was going to be about the junglers. And while I think that BLG's early game presence has really shown up thanks to Shun, I think that Peanut has been a little quiet outside of what we've seen in perhaps game 1. Delight.
Oh, ignited early here. Use that piercing darkness to heal himself up a little bit. Delight just trying to trade health bars early on. Only Elk's 6th ever game on the center. Has a 40% win rate on it, but just harassing Pays and Delight early in the lane.
Definitely a big risk you take there. Like, both Senna and Kench level 1 is so incredibly impressive, but it allows Pays and Delight to actually get control of the wave early, and we won't be seeing Shun path towards the bot time this time around. Maybe looking for an invade onto Peanut here. We did see Yagao actually able to place a ward early on.
Yagao has a much higher health bar as well if he does move early. You can see Chovy has been chunked out.
I'm not actually sure who got the big raptor.
So
there.
Peanut got the big one, but Shun got, I think, all the small ones.
Shun is going to be forcing Peanut up towards the top side. Doran does have Mega 9, can move across. Ignite on Bin, though. And the advantage in terms of summoners.
Fight that.
He will fight that.
Yeah, I mean,
Shun has
the problem Peanut has is he doesn't have prio anywhere. Doran's being zoned away, and look, Chovy can't do anything. Look at the bullying that Yagao was putting on the mid right now. Chovy is so low. Doran also in a bit of an awkward position. Our observers highlighting how awkward this is for Gen.G in the early game, and Shun is looking.
Doran underneath the tower. EQ flashes over. Doran able to flash away. Ignite will tick him down, and he will fall first blood to BLG.
Shun's Jarvan, man. 5 games in a row, and this man is still hot. Beautiful first blood for BLG in the face of Peanut. Shun finds it for Bin.
And that's the kill going to Bin.
Yep.
As mentioned, the Rumble, I think, has been such a big impact, or has had such a big impact in this series. And it is the early invade from Shun using the prio on both lanes. Doran taking so much poke. Peanut can't walk up. Not confident in a 1v1 against Jarvan early on, especially with red buff. And
does he actually get the knockup?
No, I think he flashes
he
over him. Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
Even then. And then Doran doesn't actually get the hop.
He doesn't get the hop, no. You're right.
I don't know if it would have mattered, though. With Bin still being able to do the damage. Mininar, incredibly squishy. So it's exactly the start BLG are looking for.
You can see Elkanon getting the push down towards this bottom side as well. Peanut working his way down here. Did manage to get his red buff eventually. Might just look for a tri-bush gank. And no wards here for BLG.
Some's available.
They have to be skeptical, though. Ping coming down from Shun. He's heading towards the Krugs. Level 4 now hit. Elk drops a ward.
But Delight can just go in. Get on with the stun. There's the crash down. Elk going to try and keep Peanut at bay. Bay gets him with the last embrace, and the Abyssal Voyage from On means that he will live to fight another day.
So, wow. I was going to say the problem now is Peanut spent a decent amount of time, and Shun has just come back out onto the map. Look, he's got a Phage in his inventory. Peanut hasn't had an opportunity to spend any of his gold yet. But overall, looks like not too much is going to come off the back of that. Flash burn for On. And BLG hold on to a decent gold lead for now.
And Bin with a sizable lead up towards this top lane. Very hard now for Doran to play out this lane, especially since Bin went for the plated steel caps first. I will mention, I think Elk and On could be optimizing the center Tahm Kench a little bit more. You can farm a little bit on the center in this lane.
Oh, Shun.
Shun looking down towards this bottom lane, is spotted. Pays and Delight should know that he peeked his head around the corner, but yeah, you can get about 30 CS at the 10-minute mark, 70 at the 20 mark, and then when you've completed your warding item, you can actually sell it, switch that over to the Tahm Kench, and then farm up through the late game. Means you avoid the situation where Senna isn't getting enough gold in the mid game.
And right now, we do see with Bin almost has his Ignite available again with the ultimate. Surely going to be looking to try and punish Doran. Chovy is level 6. Wasn't able to have that big of an impact in the early game last time around. And with Gen.G already in a sizable deficit, might have to do some more heavy lifting early on. Also, take a look at the vision. Again, Peanut is getting tracked. I think his early presence in the last game was really big for Gen.G. This time around, not going to have as much of an impact as Bin. Roaming towards mid here, just to make sure I think that Yigao can shove out this wave.
But it is what priority in the lanes get you to.
Yeah.
Like Bin pushes in the wave, goes place a ward at the Krug. Spot lane gets pushed in, On can walk up, place a ward at the blue buff. You can see even now Yigao actually the one to get that ward over the wall. And BLG using the fact they have push mid, push bot, will get the first Drake of the game. A little later than some of the ones we've seen, but still relatively fast at only 7 minutes in.
Overall, a quiet early game. Obviously, the pressure is pretty overwhelming for both these teams. For one, their year will be over. For the other, we'll have an opportunity to go up against Weibo in the semifinals next week. And Bin, we talked about it in the draft, a player that over the last few games has been a little quiet, but you know that he can, I shouldn't say can, he is the monster of the top lane. Against the best top laners in the world, he's been able to find solo kills. He's a presence that will always be known on the Rift, and on this Rumble with the lead that he already has, he's looking to do that in this game, but Chovy gonna look to do the same. We're getting to a point in the matchup where the Orianna will start to be very scared of the Akali. The 100-0 isn't going to be ever present, but if she ever gets down to about the 60-70% HP margin, there's a real window for Chovy to force her, if not lethal, back to base, and it could open up a window. The Herald spawns, and it's BLG that's first to the objective.
There's still a ward there, but I don't think even with awareness, Gen.G necessarily is going to look to contest that. Pre-first item on Chovy, plus the fact that Bin is as strong as he is. Really
well, there is a window here where Gen.G's bot lane could move. They have the wave pushed in bot, but looks like they're deciding against it. Peanut choosing to reset, wants to spend some of his money as Shun also makes his way back out onto the map.
You can see Delight moving up towards the mid lane, maybe seeing if Yigao overextends. Still only level 5, needs one of these minions to hit level 6, so can just leech away some of the mid lane XP. Shun in the area, though, makes it a little bit more tricky for Delight to find anything. Delight actually may have just been here to leech the XP so we can get back towards the bottom lane at level 6 before that wave crashes in.
Phase. Able to dodge away, not going to be too scared. They also have, I'm pretty sure, Soul Shun there, so we'll be aware of where he is as Peanut. Now starting this up, we'll see. There is an opportunity here for BLG to try and punish towards the bot side of the map. Don't know if they've read the play yet because they don't have vision on Herald.
It's also really tricky to dive a level 6 Kai'Sa and a level 6
Oh yeah,
Rel.
don't get me wrong. I don't think that needs to be the play, but you
there's a
try
possibility,
something.
yeah. I agree with you. There's the Rift Tower picked up for Peanut. Neutral objectives traded early on here. Dragon for BLG. And the Herald going over to Gen.G. Sense the tension in the cast, never mind the
so
tension for the
tense.
players.
I was also just kind of like looking across the minimap, looking for things to talk about, because it's a very like dead state, you know, where there aren't a huge amount of opportunities on either side. It's very difficult to gank bot lane, I think, on both sides, because what real threat do you have with a Senator Kench? But at the same time, what threat does Gen.G have into Senator Kench? Mid lane, there are possibilities. I think if anywhere, I think Gen.G could look to be more proactive around mid. At the very least, forcing the flash out from Yagao then gives Chovy more kill potential. Whereas BLG, I think if they wanted to play around anywhere, they're looking at top lane, and Shun is hovering around that area of the map, but Delight is there to cover. But this is what I mean by a dead state, is that like every potential play, I was like, oh, maybe they can make a play for top. What's happening? Someone is there to cover. Maybe mid, someone's there to cover. And both teams kind of like, when you're in this state, when you've got 5 games on stage, well, 4, I should say, into your 5th, you're just ultra aware of what's going on the map.
Pull back onto Bin. There's the equalizer. Stun coming out. Magnet Storm used as well. Peanut can come in with the cease and desist, but Bin flashes away just in time to avoid that follow-up from the Vi.
Big win there with Ignite and Flash gone. Gen.G have the opportunity to maybe set up a play. We'll see if BLG can find anything on the other end of the map, but I do agree with you. That's, I think, the one downside to the Senna Kench. It is very hard to try and make these aggressive plays, really punish on the other end of the map. Also looks like Elk is going for the lethality build. We've seen mostly the, we've seen both Stormrazor and I don't think we've seen any Kraken Slayers yet. Peanut maybe here on the return, but Shun full health. I think there's a lot of opportunity there.
I wonder what they'll do with this Herald. My instinct is that they'll drop it bot, but
it's kind of expiring as
well,
though.
What they've been doing, yeah.
I feel like they don't have enough time to drop it bot when you look at the timer on the eye.
It's just for Doran.
I guess they just want to kill Bin and open up the top tower. He has no flash. Nope, he's based. All right, well, he's got to drop it somewhere. Where you gonna drop it?
Oh, it also, actually, the timer on the eye may be misleading because it's actually the timer on the Oracle's alteration.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so...
Our bad.
That one has gotten me a bunch of times. Yeah. That's on me.
But now I have no idea what the timer on the Herald is.
Well, we'll see where he places it. We'll assume that Peanut will know what he wants to do with it.
I would imagine so.
I don't know. You know, knowing Peanut,
yeah.
I'd say the chance is
50-50.
Yeah, absolutely. We've even seen it in this game, right?
TP. Whoa, whoa.
Ooh, that's on a ward as well.
Contest.
So they know that Yagao his TP.
Oh, it's for the Dragon, okay.
They pretty much know it's down towards this bottom lane. The Dragon started up by BLG, investing all 5 members into this, and you can see Gen.G accepting the fact that BLG invest the resources. We don't really want to have to react instantaneously to it, so instead we'll give it up. Get push in top lane, still going in. No TP available for BLG now, because of course Bin is running the Ignite.
I love it. This is great.
It's a good sign for the LCK.
Everyone's going to be so quick.
Yeah.
It promotes action, which we haven't gotten a whole lot of in this game number 5 thus far.
All right, here it comes. Peanut threatening the dive on top lane.
Delight's in the area as well. Could work his way up here. Do you place the Herald? Looks like they're not doing it yet. Peanut waits around the corner, so he's not spotted by the control ward.
He doesn't like this at all.
Should be suspicious. Delight now spotted on a ward, can jump the wall. Bin retreating, Rift Herald down. Looks like Gen.G will be happy with the sacrifice of Bin not getting any of this CS or XP for the Rift Herald charging it.
It's a big win though. Gen.G should be able to get first turret off of this and make sure that Doran gets back from, or gets out of his deficit that was set up earlier with Bin getting the early kill. And there is no cross map. You saw everyone on BLG decided to recall the moment they saw the play. This wasn't really an opportunity for them to look on the other end of the map.
So the gold is slightly in favor of Gen.G,
yeah,
but by and large, it's dead even. Very similar to what we've seen a number of times throughout this series. The ebb and flow, the back and forth. We talk about tension, and again, it's important to understand how much responsibility is on the way to the shoulders of both these teams. The TP.
They didn't know Shun was here. Do now, double TP invested. Bin, still no flash, does have the equalizer. Chovy dancing around, cease and desist available to Peanut. Doesn't use it because Bin is already done for. Chovy takes the kill. Meanwhile, the Magnet Storm onto Elk. He tries to flash away. Pays stepping forward, has the killer instinct on, is pushing in the side lane. No TP for him to join the fight. Yagao with the shockwave, but Pays takes him out. The killer instinct finds its mark. Doran locked up with the last embrace, but I don't think he is in too much danger.
And it is nothing happening until the map explodes. Double TP invested by Gen.G, punishing Bin. And on the cross map, there isn't anything available. Yagao gets taken down as well. I think he tried to like flash and then take the Oriana ult with him, but instead just ends up throwing his flash into nothing. The only benefactor for BLG is on.
It's
Genj.
It's a situation where I love Gen.G as the game has gone on. They've kind of realized, hang on a minute, we should just attack Bin.
Yep.
No flash, no TP. BLG are pretty good at using Bin to collapse on sides with his TP, and he's used to being left on an island, but now that play style is leaving him exposed. Jun is in the area, but the double TP commit along with the collapse from Peanut means that Shun can really do nothing. He understands this, he's forced to back away, and it's Chovy that picks up a kill, but Gen.G they're not done yet. Look at this engage from Delight. Pei is on the backline, does get disengaged. I thought he was going to ulti in, he chooses not to overextend. Yagao goes for a last-minute play, throws away his flash, and now Chovy's in danger.
Chovy can dash away with the perfect execution, though, and that's Yagao's TP invested. On and Elk are in the mid lane. Rift Herald available to Shun as well, but Dorman's going to get a bot lane tier 1 for this.
At the very least, BLG are able to make sure that they get a topside turret. Doran will immediately answer back. And we'll see if Gen.G is able to respond or if BLG is going to get another charge. And this, you know, the only goal, obviously, the way that...
Yeah, match up on
exactly.
with the Pays, basically.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But even then, like, it's still a gold lead for on, but that's not who you want to be in a good position in this game. And the most remarkable to me is the top side, right? Because Doran was getting dove early on, but BLG haven't been able to build upon it.
This is also just that shift from Gen.G where they realize, wait, let's just actually keep attacking top. Let's commit the Herald top. Let's have Peanut constantly shadow. And remember, BLG even committed the Oriana TP bot lane. They brought the Rumble down, and that was a big window where Doran could get a bunch of plates back as well. So things looking up right now for Gen.G.
And compositionally, Gen.G have a traditional AD carry as well, which Senna is not. Elk sitting on the Umbral, and the completed warding item hasn't been farming. And all that gold sitting on has that locket. He has been the beneficiary of the early trades and of that play, but in all honesty, Gen.G now 2,000 gold ahead, looking in prime position if they can continue this trend.
Dragon spawning in 20 seconds. It's actually BLG that are first to this objective. They make their way into the river and they start to clear out the vision. A bit of hesitation from Gen.G as they have 3 members hovering around that mid-tier 1. Peanut needs to be very careful walking through this fog of war. But keep your eyes on Chovy on the minimap. Look at how he's navigating through the jungle, and he's trying to look for a flank.
When it comes to defensive atomization, Pays actually has a stopwatch available. Elk does have his Umbral Glaive, so they should be able to deny some vision here. Gen.G looking for a multi-pronged engage, but
They're
I think
so
BLG,
afraid.
they know.
They're
Yeah,
really worried.
The
they don't know where Akali is. And Chovy is just leveraging the fog of war. Bin is trying to spot him out. The pings are coming down.
Yagao.
Has he found him?
Chovy. Oh, Yagao with the sidestep was going back to the wave, but
Still the Dragon, though.
Gen.G used the time to take the Drake, and BLG will have Prio down the mid lane, but how much can they get out of that? The tower's still standing for now, but not for much longer. It will be full FL. BLG get some small prize at the end.
Good counterpunch there. Identifying that Doran's Meganar is almost about to time out, so Gen.G don't really want to look as Chovy.
A tongue lash would stun him here. And Lock Spirit can't find it. Chovy with a good dash.
I mean, if On got the Devour there, that could have been Chovy's life, so he has to respect it. Flashes away. Peanut also now looking for something. He may just take the Raptors here. Is Yagao going to face check? Surely he has the ball. Yeah, okay.
Yep.
He's not going to run the risk. Wow. We talk about tension. No one yet to pull the trigger. We've only got 3 kills in this game.
This is great. This is
I
my
was gonna say,
the only downside.
Cloud Soul, 3 kills. Just another day in the office for you.
Yeah, the only downside is normally in the LCK. You know that you can talk about really whatever you feel like, but the gravitas of the situation is that it's 1 best of 1. One mistake here, one person gets caught. You know, you start the snowball in the other direction, can go very, very quickly. So not even I feel good about this because. We just have to wait.
Yeah, we don't know what's going to
happen.
happen, how this game will turn out. Doran moves off to a side lane. Chovy kind of freezing top, slow pushing rather, I should say, because that doesn't look like it's really frozen. Peanut gets spotted out by Yagao's ball. And I just want to mention, okay, very small thing. Chovy is running the DRX Akali skin.
Yeah.
And it's a bit poetic that it was in Game 5 last year in the semi-final that Chovy actually lost to DRX. I don't remember if it was Zeka's Akali. I think it was his Silas.
I think it was his Silas.
But to channel that energy, you know, the Zeka energy, to have that carry performance, I kind of respect it from Chovy.
It's also Gen.G, or sorry, Chovy specifically, like DRX 2020, which was Doran, Pioshik, Chovy, Deft, and they still meet up to this day, right? They still, I'm not kidding, they still have sleepovers with the whole gang because the team meant that much to them. For Chovy, repping the skin and again, prioritizing the Akali so highly. This is a player who has had the reputation of not making the impact.
I mean, I've heard the comment, is he the best player to have never won a World Championship, right? Like an international title still eludes Chovy. I think it's a pretty interesting discussion. Not that we're going to have it here, but it just goes to show like how high of a pedestal this man is put on. But in any case, the Baron is alive. Dragon now spawning in about 2 minutes' time. BLG, a lot of weight on their shoulders as well. The last time they met Gen.G, they were able to defeat them 3-0, leading this series 2-0. Having a slower game like this, no clear winner just yet, but you feel like the next fight, the next big 5v5 is ultimately what will decide the outcome of this game.
It's got to be right. And you see as well, both teams really staying together.
Oh my God, he's forcing the Baron. They have no vision.
They don't know.
They know.
Now they know that BLG are on their way across. Chovy pushing in the bot lane has the TP.
Doran
is here as well, almost got the Mega Nard. Delight can jump in. BLG looks like they're second-guessing themselves. Doran dashing forward. BLG pull off the Baron.
They just wanted the TP out from Chovy. Gen.G didn't take the bait. They knew that they weren't under any real pressure, and this is giving Chovy a window now to push in this tier 2.
If they're just going to start it
yeah, they go back to it, of course.
To bot.
Hayes is all the way down towards the blue
as
well.
Whoa. This is a massive mistake from Gen.G.
BLG won't do it too quickly. It's only Shun, Yagao, and Bin there
Doran
right now.
Mega.
Coming in as well.
But
Doran's
they don't
about
know.
to fall off Mega. Delight can step forward. The control ward in the Baron pit allows Gen.G vision of it. Elk still trying to do what he can. The equalizer down, Pays on as well.
Oh, right.
Storm hits on 3. Chovy dives onto the back line but misses. The Shuriken as Delight will fall first. Pays doing everything he can as Pina has to dash away. The Senna will hit him from long range. Now Doran forced away. It's a 2-for-1 so far in favor of BLG. Doran just able to scrape his way away.
Wow, what an intense exchange. It is BLG that get the kills, but the Baron does not fall.
Oh, and the read from BLG, right? Peanut just going towards the bot side, sees some juicy jungle camps, but they almost have to pay for it with a Baron. Mininar also there for Doran, so I think BLG definitely had the right idea, but that engage from Delight took away so much of the opportunity. If Chovy actually hits that Shuriken, maybe he gets to kill the Light. Not gonna be the case, and instead it's a 1-for-2 with no one getting the Baron.
I mean, that Rumble ultimate from Bin also just completely stopped the follow-up from Delight's engage. Frustration on the side of the BLG coaching staff. An incredibly tense situation.
Chovy going in, caught with the last embrace, but he goes into the Twilight Shroud. TP now invested by Gen.G. The Dragon up. Doran able to dash away. Shun going in with Cataclysm, but now Delight can really open up. Magna Storm not quite off cooldown. Doran has a stopwatch, but all he can buy is the second equalizer now out. Doran falls. Chovy looking to hit him. He dashes back in, but the Abyssal Voyage brings him forward. And Chovy is shut out of the fight. BLG find 2.
And that might be it. That might be the moment that BLG have been looking for. They're going to run towards the Baron. Doran waits too long with the stopwatch. Wants to get his Maganar, ends up going down and then on. Knocks up Chovy. That's going to be Baron.
Doran holds his flash. Gen.G, they're uncoordinated and BLG pounce. Look at this, Chovy goes in. A quick TP from Yagao to get involved in the fight as quickly as possible. The TP response from Doran on flashes away. And then keep your eyes on Doran here. He gets engaged on my Shun. And then he can flash away at this point, but then the shockwave comes through. He's isolated from his team, and then look at this Rumble ult from Bin. Absolutely massive. Forces Gen.G to retreat, and then the knock-up from On.
Chovy hits the shuriken onto On, sees him going forward with the Abyssal Voyage and tries to chase him down. I wonder if he didn't quite track who he'd hit the Eon in that fight. Gets knocked up by On and is immediately in the middle of BLG, and now with a Red Bull Baron power play for the next 2 minutes, Gen.G's backs are against the ropes. The gold lead basically even as Chovy looks for a flank position, has the flash, has the perfect execution. No flash for On, nor Bin, nor Shun. But Chovy will be spotted on a control ward.
Peanut
should be able to dash away from this one.
The arena is full of dread right now. The hometown favorites of Gen.G. Ultimate, Peanut.
Onto Shun, the Killer Instinct going forward as well. They can lock Shun up and they'll shut him out. The shutdown over to Pays.
And it's a sigh of relief in the arena. All of the fans feel like that the pressure from BLG, just like that, has been alleviated. An important pick for Gen.G to slow BLG down. A minute left still on the Baron, but I'm not sure they can get much off the back of it.
It's been a recurring theme as well. I think in this series, the Baron power plays, every single time a team tries to push just a little bit too far forward, there have been counter plays. Both teams basically dead even after the Baron. It's 2 dragons to 2. Summoners about to be up for everyone as well. And BLG, they got the Nash, but it's not enough to break open the game.
Elk now sitting on 100 stacks on this center. A little bit slower than you'd like, but still scaling up to infinity. Delight looking for the flank position here.
Look at the damage.
Flash Magnet Storm. It's a possibility. Decides against it. Peanut pushing mid on his lonesome. Shun trying to answer this top lane. Baron remains for 30 seconds. Delight spotted by Shun. Mid lane tower falls to Gen.G, but BLG will get a tier 2 in the top lane in answer.
Baron's still here. BLG, they know where Peanut is. Chovy can TP though, but ideally he wants the back. Doesn't get to.
Now TPing in as well. Chovy gets in. Has to dash away, but Shun's still able to land. The knock of the shockwave was waiting, couldn't quite find his mark, but the flames are spitting from Bin, and Chovy cataclysmed into an early grave, and now Gen.G on the back foot. BLG, 5 members strong, will take the inhib. Will they look for more?
I mean, why wouldn't they? They have the Nexus in their eyes. BLG are looking to end it here.
Hayes, Doran, Delight, and Peanut. 4 members strong for Gen.G trying to defend, but BLG, as 5 push in, the first Nexus tower down. Delight can still engage. The shockwave finds 2, but the Magnet Storm from Delight onto the backline immediately locks up BLG for a second. The Gnar back from Doran as well. It's all on Pays. He's trying to do everything he can. The cease and desist under the tower will shut out Bin. Pays dancing and weaving his way around the fight. No minions left though. For BLG means they have to back away.
Gen.G hold on to their Nexus. It takes everything that they have, but they're able to defend. BLG were so close, but they could not take down Pays. They could not take down that AD carry, and the game will continue.
And it's the ability of BLG to punish these type of mistakes that makes them so lethal. Chovy gets hit by the flag and drag. Bin toasts him up, and then without his flash, Chovy ends up, or rather after flashing, Chovy ends up getting taken down. And then BLG, they smell blood. And it's Doran, I think, with the Mega Gnar that actually extends the play for long enough.
He takes so much damage, he's forced to go back to base, get some health back. Delight gets a great engage here. The shockwave looks terrifying, but Delight buys so much time. And then a good ultimate from Doran. Bin actually gets tower aggro, then gets chain CC'd, giving Pays the opportunity. If he hadn't made that mistake, all 5 members would have stayed alive. But a sigh of relief.
Yep.
Incredible stress on the side of Gen.G. A dragon is likely going to go in the favor of BLG. The gold is pretty much dead even, but it feels like that this series has been all about momentum. And right now, BLG are riding that towards the enemy's base.
See the win probability powered by AWS starting to swing in their favor. 1 Drake away from a Cloud Soul. They are 1 Nexus tower away from a Nexus. 1 moment away from a semi-final matchup with Weibo. For Gen.G, they fought back this series once already. After game 2, they looked done and dusted, buried in the dirt, but game 3, game 4, they gave it their all, and now once more, it is one more moment away. Can they find that oh-so-elusive thing, the momentum, the swing?
I wanted a good game 5, and I feel like we're being given it. Gen.G, they're on the back foot, but this game is still very winnable for them. A single good team fight is all they need. The Baron is alive, and here we go. The tango around the purple worm will begin once more. It's BLG first to the objective. The vision control is good. They're sweeping out what little vision Gen.G have. Delight needs to be careful.
Awesome Break's going to hit him. He's going to try and jump away, but the chase is on. The equalizer coming out as well. Delight can move for the re-engage. Doran goes in with the Mega Knock. Hayes now dives onto the back line. Delight already down, but they killed off Elk as well. Shun tries to get in with the Cataclysm, and he'll get the shot down onto Hayes. And now it's all on Chovy. He's dashing. He's dancing around the fight. The perfect execution for BLG may be too much. Chovy buys a second, but he just can't buy the win. BLG forced Gen.G out of their own jungle.
And that's going to be the second Baron going over to BLG. And the momentum feels like it's... Oh, no, are they not going to try? TPs are available.
They only have one, remember, Bin. No TP on him. Doran dashes across the wall to safety.
He's trying to get the Mega so he can contest the Baron. But without Elk, I guess they're too concerned. They don't want to take the gamble. But here we are. They'll start this one off. The TP comes through. Doran's
got to be gone.
He's going to be forced to base. There's no smite. Oh my goodness. What a crazy team fight. The moment I saw Elk drop, I thought, Paze can carry this whole fight. But then it was Yagao's Shockwave combined with Shun's ultimate that was enough to shut him down. Keep your eyes on this fight. Delight just tries to get a ward, and then he gets caught by the Senna.
And we've seen Bin being targeted this time around, it's Delight. But then with Doran getting the knock-up, feels like there might be an opportunity. They immediately blow up Elk, but look at the damage that Bin's able to do as well. And Shun sees his target. He's been so incredible on the Jarvan, even in the losses for BLG. And the moment the pace goes down, there's just not enough damage for Gen.G, even with Chovy still alive.
The execution damage just not there for Chovy. A lot of summoners burn. And time still available for Gen.G, but you have to feel like that there's not much left. BLG with the Baron. See the game-ending play in their eyes. An incredible journey for this team. The organization's first World Championship. But Bin looking to return to the finals.
And an organization that has defied expectations as the
TP
comes in behind. Chovy looking for something. Delight already caught out by Bin. He's going to have to dash away. On going in with the Abyssal Voyage. Chovy looking for that flank position, but the equalizer coming down. And once again, doesn't quite get him into the wall. Elk gobbled up as On is going to spit him out, and the tower's already gone down. Dawning Shadow out as Peanut balls everyone on Gen.G is so low. Elk's still full HP pretty much as he heals up with a piercing dark. And Gen.G just cannot find the pick they're looking for.
That's going to be 2 inhibitors down now, and BLG, they might try and look for the end.
And everything invested by Gen.G. No ult on Delight, not on Paze either. Yagao still has the Shockwave to send a shock through the crowd here in Busan. Paze low again, rooted up. The Shockwave just short. The stopwatch from Paze buys a second, but Shun still has the GA. Chovy trying to clear out the minions as the Gnar back from Doran once again.
GA.
But On just tanks for days. GA coming out from Shun, and now it's all on Chovy. It's all on Paze. And we were told Busan was the church of Chovy.